Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today we're going to be taking a little look at the leaks, because obviously those came out during a day that we weren't streaming, so we did do a video for that, but we haven't really talked about it that much. As well as we're going to be building some decks. We're going to see where things look like they might stand, the kind of builds that we might have based on the information that we currently have, which I think is going to be quite interesting. I think there is a lot of potential, I think, specifically for worms. I think worms are looking very, very good. So we'll have to see where things stand and when we actually try and build the decks. I think the worms are actually going to have a problem where they almost have too many good cards. And I think trying to work out how to narrow down to 30 cards might actually be quite difficult. So it's going to be interesting nonetheless. But I was actually thinking about this while I was doing the intro. And that is, we have had the same, like, starting soon screen for about a year and a half now, maybe a little bit over that. So I want to update it, but we haven't had, like, a major update, right? We did the first one, obviously, for the release of Go Rush. Well, the release of Rush Duels in Duel Links for Seven's World. Then we updated it for the release of Go Rush, because we did get the fusion mechanic introduced, and we did get the new world. And what I'm thinking is, what we might do, is I might wait until after Worlds, and then whoever wins Worlds, I'll do a new one featuring the 5 characters that they use at Worlds to win. I think that could be quite fun, because that also, like, adds this, like, little element of, like, anticipation of, like, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna update it based on, like, who wins that. I think that'll be fun. But before we jump into everything we're doing today, let's say hello to everyone in the chat. So we have Ninjetti Ursus. Hello, Ursus. Welcome. We have MF Hum. Welcome. We have Darth Victor, who needs a nap, as does Ursus. I mean, this is a great stream to come to fall asleep to. What can we say? It's just a lot of talking, just a lot of yap. Might even be some ASMR if you're lucky. We have Dwan in the chat. Pirate and Noodles are so back with Splame. I'm not coping, trust. Splame is a really good card. It just is. It is a fantastic individual card. Is it gonna do enough is the question. It will make summoning some bosses easier. Like, I think the deck that actually gets the highest value out of it is probably going to be the chemicalized deck. And now you can use Splame to turn into Salamander. I think that's probably the highest value, because Noodles you can just use Flavor Shift, but I do think Splame is better than Flavor Shift, but Flavor Shift can be searched, so it's like, it's awkward. It is a little bit awkward. We have Rarity in the chat. We'll do an exclamation mark. Rarity. I hope that went through. Yeah, that did. Excellent. Noodles going to be tier 0, right, Tomato? If Noodles could fuse an infinite number of times, they would have a good chance. The current issue Noodles have is, or like the current version without the new stuff, is 1, 0 defense sucks. And against some decks, they will massively punish you for having 0 defense. You can just get absolutely murdered for having 0 defense. Especially now that Music Princess is back in the meta as well. That is a deck that can just do a 6,000 piercing attack after changing you to defense mode, which is never good. 2, the game plan it currently has is very similar to the Red Eyes deck. But the Red Eyes deck does it better and can fuse more times at a turn. And then that obviously leads into our third, which is, once again, the skill locking us into fusing only once per turn if we activate the skill. So if we want that +1, if we want the extra searching power, then we unfortunately only get to fuse 1 time. All of those things together just make Noodles really held back from unlocking their potential. So I don't think it's going to be a tier 0. I think there is a chance it could do something, but I think the build will probably look very different. But we'll have to like spitball as we get into it. Just sleep and be awake simultaneously. Easy. Exactly. Technically speaking, that's not possible. Make the impossible possible. Blah blah. We have Whistling Bird in the chat. Hello, Whistling Bird. It is Mr. Tomato. Woohoo! Hello, Whistling Bird. Hope for Sky Savior as a control deck. The issue Sky Savior is going to have is trying to fit all of the traps in when you also need to include a bunch of specific spell cards. That, I think, is going to be the issue. If it didn't need If it was a contact fusion deck, you could just cram it full of traps and basically be fine. But because of the way the skill works, and because of needing fusion, at the very least, you're going to want those two, which is going to immediately fill the deck with more spells than you'd like to have in a control deck, so I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out. Just play 40? That is always a bad plan. That is never a good thing. Hopefully Parko will win. I mean, hopefully. We'll see. Or Giorfio. You know, I'd quite like Parko or Giorfio to win. You should commission someone to do a custom art, Tomato and Cyber Ramen art for the starting soon. The thing is, I do not want to put any more money into my Twitch other than the money that Twitch makes. And realistically, because of the, you know, excellent work that artists do, I wouldn't be able to pay them what I would consider a fair rate for the quality that I would want. So I don't think it would work out. Again, if I was going to just, like, you know, open the piggy bank and pay them whatever, that's fine. But when I started content creation, I specifically said, if I want something done for YouTube, I want to invest the money made from YouTube into it. If I want to make something for Twitch, I want to invest the money made from Twitch into it. And realistically, neither of those make, like, a ton of money. They're basically, you know, just a side hustle, right? They're the hobby. So, unfortunately, I'm not planning to invest into that. We have Serena in the chat. Is Sky Savior going to be bad? Sky Savior has potential. I'm not going to say it has a ton of potential. We'll have to wait and see. The trap card they're getting is really, really good. Like, it is really, really good. But it's not fantastic in terms of, like, the overall deck, right? Like, the one card is fantastic. The rest of the deck may be a little bit lacking. Hello, Isla. Welcome, Isla. Welcome from the train. Be focusing on Echoes of Einkrad. Nice, nice. We have Wuo. Hello, Wuo. Welcome on in. Is Quantum in this year? No, Quantum is not. So NA only had one slot, and that was taken by Parko. Quantum tried really, really hard. I want to say Quantum ended second or third in NA, which is also really cool because at the end of the day, Quantum has always been, like, a big fan of Rush, but he's never really been, like, a hyper-competitive Rush player, which is why I think a lot of people were kind of surprised that he even went to Worlds during the first year. So he kind of came out of nowhere. He was sort of the underdog, and then he went and won it all, which was really, really cool. But then, you know, after the last year, obviously he didn't really have that much motivation to go to Worlds, and then for this year he was actually really trying, and we were all rooting for him. But obviously when you've only got one spot, you can't root for all the NA players you want to go, right? It's like, it's tricky. It's tricky. Let's try and catch up. What are the stats for Sky Savior Fusion material? 1100 and 1300, I think, are the attack stats. Playing more than 20 in a speed deck used to be a bad thing too. The difference is, in speed, you have a whole bunch of different ways to search, and you have garnets, right? In Rush, that is less of a thing. So in speed 1, you can just turbo through your deck. You can, like, mill a bunch. You can search, like, again and again and again and again and again. You basically fly through the deck, so you don't want to be at 20 because you could, like, run out. But on top of that, speed also has a bunch of, like, mandatory techs, which we just don't have in Rush. Like, in speed, depending on the meta, it could be, oh, you need Droll. You need Nibiru. You need, like, a Book of Eclipse. You need Droplet. Like, depending on the meta, sometimes you just need these specific techs. In Rush, the only thing you kind of need right now, if you can fit it, or if your deck will allow, is Legend Spell, assuming you don't have a limit one you're locked out of, because, let's be honest, Pot of Greed is the only, like, mandatory Legend Spell. Legend Trap generally, but again, a lot of decks even forego a Legend Trap, so it's basically just Star Pro. Like, if your deck isn't playing a limit 3, you probably need to make room for Star Pro, and that's kind of it. So, as of right now, I don't really see a reason to play more than 30, unless your deck plays such a high number of boss monsters and you don't have a way to just cheat them out. So the good example of this would be Aqua, where we did see, like, 32 sort of become the norm, and I think that's just because the maths kind of worked out that way. Hello, Lost Memory. Welcome, welcome. Potential man incoming. Exactly. Yeah, Dual Link streamer. Hello, Lino. Welcome, welcome. See you, Victor. I feel so bad for Quantum. He faced like 12 Dark Galaxy in a row who all had pot at the end of his climb. That sounds like torture. To be fair, Quantum also did do very, very well in the... What's it called? The pre-WCQ. Or the pre-GRF? Whatever we're calling it. And he did that, and he got a massive streak just using 0 spell trap Dark Galaxy. So, like, he was quite aware that that was a deck, and that, you know, it could have, like, performed really, really well. But I think that just goes to show that Quantum had quite a good breadth of knowledge going into it, which is really, really good, right? Because it's one of those things, you can have an idea of what the meta looks like. You can play in that meta, you can spectate that meta, you can get a vibe for it. But you don't learn the actual minutia, the intricacies of the matchup until you've played that matchup 100 times, right? So that's what you learn when you play in like a PGRF, when you're playing in the GRF itself, when you're playing in a World Championship qualifier. That gives you that more in-depth knowledge you need for each of the matchups, which a lot of people came away from that with a much, much more in-depth matchup knowledge for specifically Gradius versus Hero. I think that was the matchup where we got the most development, and it was really interesting to see that kind of happen in real time. Brutal. Opinion on the Red Eyes Inferno structure deck and Red Eyes Dragoon. I think the Red Eyes Inferno structure deck is fine, and Dragoon is fine. Realistically, they can get you up to, like, probably Legend rank without too much worry. I think if you're trying to cog with them, it's going to be a bit of an uphill struggle. Like, it's definitely doable, but depending on the decks you run into in Legend, you could get absolutely bullied. And in a tournament setting, I think you are just going to get bullied. Realistically, it's not competitive enough to beat the good decks right now. Obviously, Stardust is like the tier 0, so everything is going to lose to Stardust pretty much, but it's not in a great spot. Again, if you want to just like get to Legend, easy peasy. I think you'll make it to Legend like fine. Pretty high towards the end until the loss streak. Yeah, feels bad. Feels bad. What's the crack? Hello, Promanicus. What do you mean? What do you mean? What's the crack? You talk about the leaks? Because the leaks is the video we already put out yesterday. I should have already seen the leaks, Manicus. It's a whole day old at this point. Everyone should have seen them. Everyone should have seen them. But for me, yesterday was an exciting day because I had two things happen. First off, I went to the opticians because I have got new glasses, right? And I went to basically pick up my glasses, but I was told ahead of time they had lost my glasses. Now, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you lose glasses, but okay, that was fine. But I had to go back in, and then I had to pick my frames again, which was weird, because it's like, well, you should have known what my frames were. So I had to go in, basically say, yes, these are the right frames, and then they're like, okay, you can leave now, come back in a few days. So on, I think, Monday, I'm going to go back in and actually collect my new glasses, and I'll actually have the correct prescription, which is going to be exciting. But that was very minor. Then, what we did was we got to watch the football. Now, I don't know about any of you guys. I don't know if you guys like are particularly into football or, you know, for our American friends, soccer. But obviously the World Cup is going on right now. I think most people understand that as a thing that's happening, even if you're not really into it. I found this image on X or on Twitter. This basically summed up yesterday. Which was, yeah, oh boy, I'm excited to watch my favorite team play. Then it was not great times during the, 8th to 85th minute. Pretty rough. And then, yeah, we won at the end. And it was like, yeah. They lost your glasses? I know, yeah, exactly. It's weird. It's weird. Do you enjoy speed or rush? I like both, Lino. I really like both. I am more rush focused, but I really like speed. I think, don't get me wrong, I don't like every speed meta. I don't like every speed deck, but I do like a good handful of decks. I do like the format. I do enjoy playing the format. I've cog. To be fair, I haven't cogged in speed in a while at this point. I think it's been like 3 or 4 months since I bothered to cog. But I do like it. I have been trying to have more speed streams, but it just hasn't really been in the cards so far. But I am very much the kind of player that plays the decks that I like in speed, whereas in Rush, I'll play meta, right? Well, I'll still play the decks that I like, but in Rush, I play everything. In speed, I play my pet deck, right? So in speed, I'll play literally... I really like my Fluffles, even though they're really, really bad in Duel Links. And I play Dinosaurs. They're like my 2 pet decks. So they're what I've been really enjoying. Any advice for going to locals for the first time? If you're going to a physical locals, I would say just go with the idea of having fun. Don't go with lofty aspirations of winning the whole thing. Don't even expect to win a single game. Just go to meet people. Just go to get to know people. Just have a good first impression. If you get on with the people at the locals, that's the important part. Oh, we were in an ad break as well, so I'll repeat that in case that was all eaten by the ads. Yeah, if you go to a locals, don't expect to win. Don't expect to win even a single game. If you go in with the expectation you're going to lose every single game, you can't be disappointed, right? You can't get tilted. You can't get salty. Just go in, have a good time, meet some people, have a good first impression. If everyone at the locals likes you, that is the important part. Because as soon as you get everyone to like you, people will help you out. They'll help you out with deck building. They'll help you out with whatever else you might need. If everyone hates you, it's going to be a horrible time. So just go with the express, like, idea of I'm just going to make friends, right? That is when you're going to have a good time with it. I understand people are running after a ball. That is most of football, to be fair. The idea is you want to get the ball in the other team's net. And everyone else on that team doesn't want to let that happen. So if you just, like, follow that much, you kind of get the whole vibe of how the game works. Never in doubt in Sir Harold we trust, exactly. Hello, Hit. Welcome, welcome. You're the nicest dueling streamer I've seen so far. Thank you so much. I mean, I just try to be honest, for the most part. I'm sure there are much, much kinder people out there than I am. I finally won a game of Commander, about my 5th game. So you, if I remember, Shari, you were playing the Splinter deck? I haven't played with or against any of the TMNT stuff, so I have no idea how it performs. But congratulations on winning a game. Yeah, I'm really chuffed for you. I guess we will quickly hop over to this. Before we, like, jump into the stuff we're going to do, we'll get the OCG stuff out the way, because otherwise the OCG stuff is just going to be lingering in the background. So we're getting Special Pack 2026 Volume 1, which comes out on July 11th, which is neat. Now, this is where we get the weird ones. So we're getting the World's Prize cards. This isn't the first time we've done this, but this is the first time we're getting these versions of them, I believe. So these are, like, as you can see down here, it says Replica. These are cards that can't be used at a duel, but we're getting access to them, which is kind of cool. So, I mean, it's neat. We're getting Overrush of the, was it C39 Home Run Hitter. We're getting Overrush of, God, what's it even called? Grand Slam Dragon. Overrush of Star Reaper. Sky Savior Watch. And then we're getting a new card, Lengling, which this is a import, I think. If not, it has a very similar art to an import. So requirement none. Choose a face-up level 8 or lower monster on your field and equip this card to it as an equip spell with the following effects. This is a union monster. The equipped monster loses 1,000 attack and can attack twice each turn. I mean, that's interesting. I'm trying to think if there's, like, a really good card to use this with. Nothing, like, off the top of my head. Obviously, you want to have, like, a giant piercer. But a lot of the giant piercers I can think of already have better effects than this they could use. Then we have Headhunter's Lemure Cunning. It's a bit furry, but I don't hate this art. So, level 4. Choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. For the rest of this turn, your opponent can activate trap cards during the battle phase. This screams side deck card, but it would have to be very specific. I don't think most side decks would bother playing this. Maybe if you're already playing a Beast Warrior deck, and you want to have just, like, Beast Warrior type cards. Rush looking kinda OCG'd. Hello, a human. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we're taking a look at the OCG cards before we jump into the rest. It's just a bunch of reprints for the most part. And then we got this 7-card arts for the Go-Go theme. Now, guys, did any of you guys, be it speed players or rush players, did anyone go, you know what we need? We need the go-go theme to be imported into Rush. I don't know. I have no interest in these cards at all. At least not like aesthetically. I don't know, man. It's just weird. But yeah, we're getting Go-Go the Rumored Ninja. Which, I don't know. I don't like this art at all. We're getting Ebisu, the Ninja of Justice. Which, again, not a huge fan. We're getting Yai, the Special Investigations Ninja. Which, you know, Waifu Ninja. This is like the best looking one so far. I'll tell you that much. Then we've got Sasuke, the Clockwork Ninja. This, I believe, is a reference to Sasuke Samurai. Because it's, you know, it's got Sasuke. I think the Sasuke Samurai has, like, the same head, effectively. Then we have Yai, the Secret Special Investigations Mermaid. Which I don't know why... I don't know why the ninja girl is now a mermaid. I think that's meant to be something to do with, like, the ninja transformations. But usually they just become, like, an animal. I don't know why we're becoming a half animal. Then we have helpful tools / helpful items. I guess. And then we have take a short break. I don't know, man. These cards are weird. These cards are weird. That is not the Sasuke Samurai I know. Well, Sasuke Samurai is like a little chibi guy, right? If I remember correctly. I don't know, man. I'm not the biggest fan of these. I think these look a bit lame, if I'm being completely honest. So... I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I'm not a fan. So now we'll take a quick look over at our tournament results. We'll take a look at how our Rush meta is doing. She has bills to pay. She is hardworking. If you say so. If you say so. So these are our tournament results from basically since we've started playing with the new ban list. Now, this is also including... before we got the skill updates. So it's not going to be like one-to-one. Like, for example, maybe Royal Rebels will be performing like a little bit better. But for the most part, this is going to be accurate, right? So Music Princess has been winning the most and has the most points for both top 4 and top 8, which is not too surprising. I think you also have to take into account that people will be playing the new stuff because they want to try it out, right? So... although Music Princess is performing quite well, take it with a pinch of salt because people will be playing more Music Princess than they will some of the older decks that haven't been changed. So Music Princess obviously did get an unhit, which makes it a lot more viable. But either way, this is looking quite promising. Dark Galaxy, which has been hit by the ban list, still performing well. Elemental Hero still performing well. 4D basically untouched by the ban list is kind of just where it was before. It's kind of always been like the 4th best deck. In fact, the one deck that's really like... not here anymore is Gradius. Gradius seems to have slipped all the way down. Hello, Tomato. Seems like they changed Yai into a special investigator. Hello, Alterius. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, because they're not even like the secret investigators, which are obviously the reptile archetype. It's just a bit of a weird one. It'd be a little funny if Egyptian God card becomes a Rush card. I'm still considered an oldie. I mean, yeah, I'm very much a Yugi boomer, for sure, for sure. I would love to see the Egyptian gods come over, but... I would like care put into it. I don't want them to just like hurry it out. I don't want like really boring versions of Egyptian gods. I almost would like to see like their anime counterpart. I want them to have like different colored borders, right? I want Obelisk to be a blue bordered card. I think that would look sick. And then you could have it like God Rare, where you get to have just like different colored borders completely. I want the gods to have their own unique effects. I want the gods to have like a load of protection built in, so you know you don't just like, oh, I activate Mirror Force, your god's dead, right? I want all of the Egyptian gods to have like protection from all trap cards. I want the like spell cards only affect them for one turn and they can't be destroyed by spells. I want all of that shit because I think that would be really cool. I don't want them to just come out as like, the god cards are out and you can just Mirror Force an Obelisk and it's gone. I think that'd be really, really boring. And my top 4 with Royal Rebels was obviously pre-skill buff. Well, there you go then. There you go then. Poor Gradius, how the mighty have fallen. But again, it might just be people are just not playing Gradius. They're just not interested in it, right? So don't take this as like lore. Take this as a guideline, right? Seven's Road needs more love. I mean, Seven's Road's doing all right. It's got 3 top 4s. Yeah, that's respectable. Definitely respectable. Got a new skill and you all ignored it. Poor Gearpard. So Gearpard was hit. Not because of Gearpard, not because of Chariot. It was hit because of Pot of Greed. So, like, either they unhit Gearpard, allow you to play it at 3, at which point you wouldn't play it anyway, because what's even the point? Like, if they unhit Gearpard, the only thing that changes with the new skill is you now play Pot of Greed with it. Or even better, because you're playing Pot of Greed anyway. Now you play, like, 1 Gearpard, which is there just to be sent to the graveyard. It's now a Garnet. That is the only thing that changes with Seven's Road. So, I don't even know if that changes, if that helps, realistically. Hello, Luis Fernando. Why do you come in the chat and immediately just drop whatever? Like, as the first thing you say? That's so, like, I don't know, that's so, like, disruptive. It's so antagonistic. Does the skill change take effect yet, guys? Yes, the skill changes will have taken effect in PvP. They need to buff 7's skill to search 2 cards. I mean, maybe. I mean, the 7's deck has the issue of the new skill needs to be better than the old skill. Like, fundamentally. You just need it to be better than what came before. If it's not, why would you bother moving to the new skill, right? Skill changes is live in PvP. There you go. Unironically, SRM needs ship. I could see that, actually. One of the big issues you have at the moment with the 7's Road deck is you have a lot of ways to get 7s into your hand, like level 7 monsters into your hand, and then not a lot to do with them once they're there. It's basically you just have to go Witch to get out Magician, and if you ever draw Fear, it's always like, well, now I need to use the skill to send this, or I need to use Witch effect to send it, which means I also need like other things already set up, which can be a bit annoying. So I think actually having 7 or having Ship of 7 Treasures could actually fix a lot of their issues. Because also you could just use the effect of the new 7 skill to just add 7s to hand to be discarded with Ship of 7, which could actually be really, really good. I got OTK'd by 7s on turn 2 yesterday, even though I set 3 monsters. I mean, it can happen. It absolutely can happen. It comes down to, would you have still been OTK'd if you had a decent trap card, right? Like, if you had a Legend, if you had a Star Pro, if you had a Shady, if you could still die through that, that's where shit gets really scary. Where is Rush Tier 0? Hello, Kim friend. Welcome on in, our favorite Rush fan. I mean, there is no Tier 0 in Rush right now, my friend. There is no Tier 0 in Bana Sing Se, as we say. I think that is only a speed thing right now. Or buff the 7 skill to search 7 sphere. I'm trying to think what the current 7 skill is. Let me quickly bump this up. Because what is the new... What is the new 7 skill called? It's like 7's Wonder or something, right? So we can add a 7's Road Magician, Swordsman of Road, start a fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand, then add one... Then send 1, 6, or 7 spellcaster monster... Oh no, we said it. Monster from your deck to the graveyard. I don't even know if you need to add Fear to hand. Like, does adding Fear to hand matter when you could just dump it in the graveyard? Like, dumping it in the graveyard is the important thing, right? Because you want to use Magical Swordsman of Road's does effect. Isn't that Master Axe of Road skill, or am I wrong? I'm talking about the new skill. Search for just 1 card is kind of ass for 7's Road. Once unit arrives, honestly. I mean, the thing is, if we didn't already have a lot of the really good trap cards that we now have, there are a lot of decks that would just overrun the meta, right? That's kind of the point we've reached, where because of skills and 6,000 life points, OTKing is now easier than ever. And without the really good trap cards, we would just be OTKing each other all the time, right? So that, though, has a knock-on effect where now, if we bring out a deck, it needs to be able to do stuff through those trap cards, or it doesn't do anything. And one of the issues that Celeb Rose is going to have is just like naturally in the deck, you don't really have good ways to play around Shady. You don't really have good ways to play through Star Pro. So just those cards already being out, I think is going to massively reduce the potential that Celeb Rose is going to have. So it's a tricky one. Luke's skill Darkness Return seems bugs. It said you not fulfill the requirement in putting in Demonic Dragons. Which one's Demonic Dragons? If I search demonic dragon, is that going to bring anything up? No. What you're gonna have to let me know what the demonic dragons are before I can help you out with that. They don't need that. They always open magical swordsman plus 7's fit. Anyway, well, there you go then. They buff 7's new skill for search 2 cards, or buff the old skill to search 7's fit. Ah, I see. We can assume Rush is a failure of Duel Links. I don't know, man. You're the one who's you're the only one that seems to be like super anti it, Kimfriend. I don't know. Kimfriend seems like a really strange one. He comes into the chat, drops like 1 or 2 messages about how he doesn't like Rush, and then just like leaves. And it's like, you're entitled to your own opinion. Like, that's all fine. But it's just really strange that you feel the need to do this. Like, have you got like nothing else going on, buddy? Like, it just, I don't know. It just seems strange. It just seems kind of strange to me. But my gems! Exactly. Just curious, Tomato, what is your most favorite show of the entire Yu-Gi-Oh franchise from DM to Go Rush? Oh, that is a good question. If I'm being perfectly honest, it is not a Rush show. I like Sevens and Go Rush. They are not my favorite shows. From a, like, would I go back and watch it again? What is, like, the most entertaining? What has the best duels? Which has the most characters? I would say... Alright. I don't think I would want to watch any of the shows from start to finish again, now that I've already watched them. Because every single show, every single one, there is no exception to this, has a series or specific episodes or just some, like, faff that's just boring. So no matter what Yu-Gi-Oh show I watched, I would skip bits, right? I would skip the boring bits, skip the duels you don't care about, skip the non-duel episodes, skip the arcs that drag on, right? So with that in mind, where I can, like, chop and change and take what I want from the show, I would probably say Arc 5 is actually my favorite. But again, I would cut out, like, most of the Synchro arc. I would cut out some of the Fusion arc, right? There is a lot I would cut out and I wouldn't want to watch again. But if I could just get rid of the boring bits, I think Arc 5 is, like, one of the best series. I think it has some of the best duels, has some of the best characters, has some of the best decks. It's just great. And it has that, like, that Yugi Boomer, like, pandering that I like so much. You know, that same part of your brain that goes, oh, I'm not going to go watch the latest Marvel movie. I don't care about... And then you see the trailer for, like, the new Avengers, and you're like, is that Patrick Stewart from the X-Men movies? And you go, whoa, and your brain just, like, goes, no, I do actually like that. It's that sort of... that's kind of the Arc 5 energy. Which is, like, it's a bit weird, but it is what it is. The Dragonic Dragons. So what are the Dragonics? Oh. So you can't put the Earth Dragons in? It is probably lost memory that it's probably not updated for PvE yet, so it's probably throwing up the error because it's like, well, in PvE you can't use this, but in PvP you can. That would be my assumption. Kim Friend is Sundere. I mean, it seems that way, doesn't it? Justicia of the Dragon stream would be cool to Sevens. Sevens need a monster to pop back. Right, so the issue with that, Louise, and we'll get Justicia up real quick. Just so everyone can see it. We'll make it nice and big so everyone can see this. So this card would be absolutely fantastic for Sevens. It would also be absolutely fantastic for every deck that is allowed to play it, because this card is insane. This card is so powerful. So the effect, shuffle 1 Justicia, so another copy of itself, or any 4 monsters. So it doesn't have to be spellcasters, doesn't have to be water, just any 4 monsters back into the deck. Destroy a face down face down card in your opponent's spell and trap zone. So you can't get rid of field spells. You can't get rid of face up equip spells. You can get rid of anything else. So this card is fantastic because what you tend to do with this card is you slam it down and you basically say to your opponent, well, if you've got a Shady, you've got to Shady this. Because if you don't, it's going for free. So it's like, it's just so powerful. It's so good. So random to say, Lo, I do think Sevens world launch was quite bad though. It was pretty rough. It was, I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. It was not a good time for the game. And we have skill, so it's kind of buff for DDDD and 7. Justicia, kind of good on 4D, maybe hero. The thing is, there are a lot of skills that don't lock you. So this suddenly becomes really, really useful in a lot of those. Like, just think about it like this. This would also, like, theoretically be a buff for hero? Because I don't think the hero skill locks you, right? Let me just double check that. Hero Rush Rising... Monsters with 1600 more attack in the deck are light attribute warrior monsters, and the rest of your monsters are extra deck. Oh, alright, so no, this does actually lock you into warriors, right? No, it doesn't. It does not. So you could play this in heroes, so this would be potentially a hero buff. It's a bit of a weird one for heroes, but it could work. Gradius, you can now play that in Gradius, because that skill doesn't have a lock. Dark Galaxy, you couldn't. Music Princess, I don't think you can, right? I think Music Princess, like, hard locks you into... thingy, right? I'm pretty sure it hard locks you into warriors. All the monsters in your constructed deck are wind attribute warrior type monsters. Yeah, there you go. So, but that now means that every skill that would come out would now have to consider whether or not we want them to use this card or not, and then to put another restriction on them. Just for the last time, what was your favorite Karibo variant from the thousands they've made? What do I like the most? I mean, from a gameplay perspective, I don't really like any of them, if I'm being completely honest. From, like, a narrative perspective, obviously, I've always liked the original, because I like, you know, in DM, it was a big card, especially in Duelist Kingdom, and then during the Virtual World arc. In GX, obviously, Winged Karibo was there, but I never really liked Winged Karibo in GX. I always just thought it was, like, irrelevant. Like, it just wasn't necessary, like, at all. It was just kind of there. And then we only actually did anything meaningful with it, like, one time. And that was, what, against Chaz in, like, episode 3 or 4 or whatever, where he duels against the VWXYZ. And other than that, it was just kind of whatever. Maybe Red Eyes, but looks more for 7's DDDD. But again, the thing is, this card is just really, really, really strong. And right now, this card sees a ton of play in OCG. Now, like you said, we can just have skills that prevent it from being put into other decks. But it's still an awkward one. It's still a very awkward one. I think what's more likely to come out before this is probably Sea Dragon Knight. I think we're more likely to get this. Because this is also generic. It's also just a level 3 water. It's a Sea Serpent instead of a Spellcaster. Shuffle 2 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Look at one face-down card spell trap on your opponent's field. If a card with the same name is in your opponent's graveyard, you can destroy that card on the opponent's field. So this is similar, but worse, right? But I think this card is, like I say, more likely to come out than this. Winged Karibo was emotional support. Kind of, but like... The thing is, Jaden already had so much emotional support, or Judai, that I don't think he needed that. Like, he ends up having, like, his entire deck as dual spirits. And then he gets Yubel as his, like, companion. And he's always had Banner since the Shadow Riders arc. Like, by the end of GX, he's got, like, it feels like an entire, like, emotional support spirit squad just to help him out. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's a bit weird. But yeah, where were we? We were talking about this originally, which, you know, is fine. It's fine. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the leaks. Let's see what we got. We're not going to go through, like, all of these, because obviously we've done a video for this, but we are going to talk about, like, the big stuff. So let's talk about the elephants in the room. We have Extra Meat, the Special Noodle Ninja. Extra Meat is cool. I, though, do wonder if it's going to actually be that great. Because originally, the benefit of using Extra Meat is that it costs so few resources that you could go into another fusion summon after you made it. So you could, like, summon out Extra Spice, burn, get a draw, then fuse it off into this, burn, get a draw, and then get another card back from the graveyard, which would be one of your Noodle spell cards. And then because you've done all that, you can then use the resources that you've already managed to conserve to go into another fusion. We can't do that if we use the skill. So it's like, it's a bit awkward. It is a little bit awkward. At least Jaden has free therapy, basically, right? Metarian Fusion came so late. You're not wrong. I mean, that's the other elephant. I mean, there are other elephants to talk about. We'll talk about Metarian Fusion for now. Metarian Fusion it's a good card. I feel like because it is not searchable off the skill in the same way that Fusion is, it's not going to move the needle too much for Metarian. That is my gut feeling. I think this will make the deck better, but it's not going to make the deck a ton better. And I think that's a little bit disappointing. So we're going to have to, like, see how that actually shakes out. But, like, it's still a net improvement. But if anything, it actually makes the spell trap space a bit more awkward in the deck. Because you're still going to play the same skill. You're still going to play probably just one copy of Fusion now, because the skill can search the Fusion, so it doesn't matter if you're only just playing one. And then you're never going to put it back into your deck, so as long as you're just using things like Star Restart, you can just get it back out the graveyard, so it never takes the cards like dead or anything. I can't wait for my extra meat to get shadied and end my turn because of the skill look. Exactly. I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about with Celebros, right? There are just so many decks that just can't do anything about shady. And to a similar extent, the Noodle deck is also not super great into Star Pro. So it just feels like there's so many trap cards that mess with this deck from doing anything, which feels really, really bad. Hello, Null. Welcome. I'm excited for Metarian and Noodle support. Well, that's good. Hopefully it ends up being, like, playable, but I'm not super confident in it. So does it work with the old skill then? What are we specifically talking about? We're talking about Metarian Fusion? Because the old skill, if we're talking about like the old Metarian skill, that's just bad, like straight up. It's just worse than the new one. But with our new skill, Metarian is probably be ass. Yeah. It's similar to Light Galaxy, where like Light Galaxy got new cards, but without a new skill, it kind of felt a little bit underwhelming. Thank you for the follow, Lino. A new skill later down the line for Metarian and Noodles. The thing is, the Noodle skill is fine as it is. If it just didn't have the restriction, it would be completely fine. I don't think you would need a new skill if we just removed the fusing once per turn on it. Like, the skill does everything I want it to do. It doesn't need to more bells and whistles. You just need to take off a restriction, right? It's kind of like 7's Wonder Fusion. It's really good, but the skill makes it kind of awkward. Well, that's the logic, right? Is the new 7's Wonder skill is meant to make Wonder Fusion better, but it's just not as good as the old skill, so it's just not seeing the play. Would you shave your head if the new support does nothing? No. Why would I shave my head because of anything? I'm not really a gambling person anyway. I don't really like making bets. Talking about the extra meat and the old Noodle skill. The old Noodle skill is ass, Whistling Bird. It's just straight ass. You get one card back from the graveyard one time. Like, why would you want that? Do it for the Vine. Nah, I'm not a clout chaser. I'm not a content chaser. I'm gonna bounce to my see ya. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for stopping by, Lino. So the other stuff that was interesting, we're getting Total Destruction. So we are getting Mirror Force. Now, I actually think there is a good chance this is a bundle card. I don't necessarily have anything to back that claim up, outside of, I think it would be weird to give us 3 copies of this card, and it's a UR, so we're going to have to find other places to put URs. And a good place to put a UR would be in a bundle. So my guess is Destructor Art Total Destruction is going to be a bundle card. So with that in mind, what do we think about there just being a one-of Mirror Force that can just show up? Do we think that's going to be overpowered? Do we think that's not going to do anything? Are we like, it doesn't matter because, you know, heroes will just summon Burst Wingman and pop the back row and then throw down an Avian and it will just go away anyway? Or are we going to be like, no, actually, Mirror Force is way too strong? If they already restricted Noodles before, there's no way they take it off with Meat Spice. I mean, that's basically how I feel, yeah. The Worm Mirror Force could be a lifetime mission like Imaginary Arc Surge. That's a good shout, actually. That's not a bad shout. The question is, right, so how many URs do we get? So going under the assumption, these two up here are the event rewards, right? So we'd have like box, for example. That would leave 1, 2, 3. So we still need to find 3 places to put URs. One of them is probably going to be in the trader. That's not too surprising, right? One of them is probably, like we said, it could be like a lifetime mission. That still leaves 1 more to go somewhere. So probably is going to be a max level up reward for Osaka. And out of all of these, I would imagine it's probably going to be the Constructor Sword Conquidia. Just because, I don't know, this gives me like level up vibes. Where it's like, it's an okay card, but it's not that good. So, potentially. Wouldn't a bundle have a ban leaked? Yes, but also like there's always a chance that like something gets put in during a like small maintenance. It's not very likely, but there's always like a chance. In the same way that even though in the files right now, none of these cards have limits, or at least none of the cards that we've looked at have limits, right? But when the day comes, limitations can just appear, right? I could see the trap being used. I mean, yeah, I think this is going to see play, for sure. The question is it going to be good or not? That's the question. So those are, like, I guess the 3 big ones. The other ones to talk about is going to be Splame. Splame is really big. I don't think Splame is going to have the same impact that it had in the OCG. I think it's still going to be good. It's still going to see play. But I think it is going to be limited to Noodles and Chemicalized. I think it's going to be limited to those 2. I don't think it's going to see play in anything else. But the card is, like, fine, right? The best way to use Splame is to basically just have it become a boss monster from the graveyard. The best one for that is going to be either Extra Spice or is going to be Chemicalized Salamander. If it can become either of those, you get so much value out of it, which actually does make it pretty good. Why does Asuka have voice lines for so many unreleased cards? Any chance they will get printed soonish? I mean, it's one of those things where you never really know what's going on with it. I think, for the most part, from a business perspective, it makes more sense to pay them hourly, right? The voice actors. Get them in and record as many lines as possible for all the cards that you think might come out eventually, so you don't have to pay them again to come in and do re-records, right? So I think that's what makes the most sense. So I wouldn't read too much into it. But you never know, you never know. I can finally make a fusion using only 3 cards. Exactly, we're just like the Elemental Heroes now. We're just like the heroes. Or that, to be fair, Elemental Heroes can make a fusion with 1 card. And I guess so can, Music Princess. So maybe it's not as fair. Also, any contact fusions, they can be made with just 2 cards, which is also maybe not as fair that we still have to use 3. But you know, it counts, right? It counts. Make more easily for Pyro to make double fusion for turn. That is great. That unfortunately though doesn't help Noodles. It's great. It's great for Pyro. Not so good for Noodles. So then we get Fadral. Innocent Fadral. I don't know how much play Fadral's going to see. This card saw a decent amount of play in OCG when it came out. But it doesn't really see much play anymore. This card was kind of around for like probably like 3 to 6 months and then disappeared again. Right now, this would probably see play in 4D. And that's probably it. I'm trying to think if you would play this in anything else. Maybe you'd play this in just like random dragon-themed decks. But obviously a lot of decks you wouldn't be able to use it because it's a dragon. So if your skill locks you out of using dragons, you wouldn't play it anyway. High Tech, yeah. High Tech is a good example. I think you'd probably play this in like the Gear decks. I think you'd probably play this in like anything that's kind of dragon related. Just getting a 3+1 is just good. I mean, cuties, I guess. I guess this works in cuties. But then I don't know if you would play this alongside this plus Balloon. I'm wondering at what point do you have too much chaff in the deck. Pigeon. Real. Maybe Red Eyes? Red Eyes is a weird one. Because Red Eyes is already kind of stuffed with cards. I don't know if you'd be able to make room for this. Like, what would you take out for Fadral Red Eyes? It's a tricky one. Definitely a tricky one. So the other card I didn't think we were going to be getting is Bill Dragoon. Bill Dragoon is really cool. I'm not certain where this is going to see play. This definitely sees play if you're building the maximum version of the deck, for obvious reasons. But even then, so this card is obviously, it's a bit of a weird one. This is a card that is meant to bridge the gap between the maximum and the fusions, right? So this card allows you to perform a fusion summon, but gets a discount if you're using a maximum. Also, it's level 10, which means you can play it alongside the middle piece of the maximum, then use Heavenly Gift as discard fodder, and then you can send either this or the maximum, right? So it basically gives you a higher ratio of having cards that you can use Heavenly Gift with, which is really good. But the maximum version of the deck obviously doesn't really care about fusing, and the fusing part of the deck doesn't necessarily care about this being level 10, as well as you don't really want to be playing the maximum pieces if you're not planning to maximum summon. So it's a bit of a weird card. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up seeing a pure fusion build that doesn't play this, a pure maximum build that also doesn't play this, and then like a half and half build, which is a bit weird. Konami may be wanting people to use Asaka for both Earth and the Fire decks and completely replace Asana. I mean, potentially. I mean, the new skill is probably straight up better than any of the old stuff we've got. Like, realistically. The new skill is also really important because you can search monsters that have less than 400 defense. Guess who has less than 400 defense? So you can search Bill Dragoon with the skill. And you can search maximum pieces. So just off the skill itself, you could just grab a maximum like L piece that you're just randomly playing, maybe even as a one-off. Grab your Bill Dragoon, then summon it, tribute it, summon out Bill Dragoon effect, fuse, and get a draw. Like that is a play you can legitimately make with this deck, which gives it a lot of potential. I don't know about Mask Master. This card kind of ass. I don't know about you guys. Does anyone think Mask Master is going to do anything? Could use Dragoon to fuse, use it for Scrapgate, then fuse again. I don't think Scrapgate is going to see play. I think Scrapgate is just too slow. Like, think about it like this. If we're playing this, and we want to use it, either we have to use the skill to search a maximum piece to tribute it to get a discount, or we don't get the discount. So we just hard tribute it using 2 guys. We then have to use the skill to search the Scrapgate, because, again, we can't guarantee we're just going to have it. So we'd have to use the skill to search this, the skill to search Scrapgate. If we wanted the discount, we have to use the skill to search a maximum piece, which is already impossible to do all 3 of those things. Like, there's just a lot of hoops to jump through for what I don't think is enough reward. Mask is a good one-of. 1 Mask, 1 leading might be good for play after Shady. Maybe potentially, but you've got Matarian Fusion to play after Shady now. Like, Matarian Fusion can fuse face downs. So, in an ideal world, if you get Shady, you just keep going, right? But Matarian Fusion Screaming Bundle to me, I think that would be one of the worst decisions they could make. Like, that would suck so much. And, like people said before, we don't have a bundle banner, which means that's less likely. But, like, having this card with any limitation on it at all, I think would be really bad. I think the best you could do, put this as limit 3. Just so you can't use Star Pro with this deck. That would be it. It would be sick if it happened. I think that's the thing. The Scrapgate is a cool card for, like, anime moments. I don't think it's a good card. I think it's just, like, if it works, and, like, it's one of those things where, like, if you have a replay and you have it working, and you just drew, like, the God Hand and everything worked out fine, it looks sick. And when that's not happening, it's just kind of mediocre. So, the other big thing, Wish of the Sky Savior. This appears, at the moment, to be unlimited. I personally hope that Wish is limit 3. Just because I don't want to play against a deck that potentially could be on, like, 3 Wish, 3 Shady, 3 Star Pro. That seems tedious as hell. So ideally, I don't want to have to do that. Make a monster in the anime for this field spell. I mean, kind of. In the, like, I've played with Scrapgate in the OCG, and I've used it to make big fusion monsters. It's really cool. But that's because the OCG is slower. Especially when this card came out, which was quite a while ago at this point. The format was just slower paced. You could have a turn of setup where it didn't matter. Sky Savior Pigeon. 4D can use it, surely. So you could, but you'd have to just stuff in a bunch of Sky Savior cards and try to play a fusion deck. So if you're trying to actually do the fusion part of the Sky Saviors, not having a way to search fusion, as we've seen time and time in the past, is just asking to lose, right? We saw Metarian was doing really, really mediocre. Well, a lot of the time, except when the meta was unbelievably slow. As soon as the meta sped up a little bit, Metarians were just dead on arrival because they couldn't search fusion, right? So when they got the ability to search fusion, they got a little bit of stint of playability again. But trying to play a fusion deck in the current metagame without a way to guarantee the fusion's going to go off is so awkward. Especially without a skill, you also then have to hope that you don't draw all your wishes early and just have all of your Sky Savior monsters in your deck still, because then they're all just dead. They just don't do anything. Whereas with the Sky Savior skill, you can better set this up so it works more often. So it's a weird one. I don't know if I'd bother playing it without the skill. I mean, there's nothing else really big in here to talk about, is there? So I think we're just going to go ahead and check out some of the other bits. So first up, we have a skill. That is bigger, so you guys can see this. So, Activated Worm of Black Metal. From turn 2 onward, reveal one Destructor Worm Barkhammer or Destructor Soldier Helmet from your hand if all of the monsters in your deck are Worm-type monsters. Add up to 2 cards from your deck or graveyard to your hand, either level 8 monsters, monsters with 400 less defense, fusion, field spell cards, or equip spell cards. Then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So this type of effect is nothing new. Add 2, discard 1, but the cards we can search is like most of the deck, which is kind of wild, right? I'll say it, increase the extra deck again, Konami, please and thanks. What would you want to increase to? Just by another 1? My Metarian extra deck is going to be so tough to manage. I mean, there's a chance they do just bump it up, right? They could. They absolutely could. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at a worm build that we could potentially make here, right? So, what are the obvious ones? I think Tarask probably makes it in. I mean, you're going to be in. You're probably going to be in at some number. You're going to be in at some number. You're going to be in. We're going to want 3 of you. What else is going to make the cut? Right now, you're worth playing. You're probably worth playing. I'm not sure about you, but you're probably going to go in for now. We'll add these. We'll add these. We'll add these. Okay, so this is our monster lineup so far. What are we at? We're at 24 already. Dragline, maybe? I mean, which one? Does Dragline not just summon Earth cards back? Level 8 worm-type monster from your graveyard. Oh, so you can bring back a fire one. Special summon Bill Dragon, you can grab a worm monster with 0 defense. So shuffle 3 worms. Then bring back specifically Barkhammer. Are any of these level 8? 9999. So it's only Barkhammer. Barkhammer should be in the graveyard most of the time though. And we're turbo milling. So we'll put this in for now. We'll think about it. We'll think about it as it goes in. Are any of these other ones, do they matter? I don't think they do. Like, Piccolon shouldn't matter. We shouldn't need a discard draw. I also think cards like Steeplejack, maybe we'd only play as, like, a one-of, because we can search it if we need it. We can't search Nika and Boka. We can search Helmet. We can't search Harkin. So Harkin is a bit of a weird card. Being able to draw 2 is really good. But it's like, how often is this effect going to be live? Like, part of me is like, is this going to be the new curse? Where players are trying to keep 2 cards in hand just so they don't get harkened? But like, worst case scenario, this is just a body that you can just tribute off. So that's also fine. So we have Canteen, who again can't be searched. But we can place a worm monster from our graveyard on the top and bottom of our deck. Again, this is important to use. I mean, right now, I guess it's important for specifically these 2. Is there anything else that matters right now? I don't think there is. Hello, Georgia. Welcome on in. You've caught us as we're doing our first look at some deck building. All right, let's search for worm-specific support cards. Let's see what we play from that. I think we're playing one Autumn Leaves. I think we always play one. I don't think we need anything else. We're going to leave out the maximum pieces for now. We'll come back to those later, I think. Is there any other... I think we always play one Claw Shield. I don't know if we're playing a Concadia. Like, maybe we would, but for now we're going to leave it out. I think we're also playing... We're going to play Total Destruction. We're going to assume this is a 1 for now. We'll see how it goes. Not gonna lie, I have no idea how to build this either. The Field Spell? We have a Field Spell. It's right here. It's right here. Right here, Louise. Right there. I think that's kind of it for, like, the worm-specific cards. I don't know about the Miracle Fusion. Yeah, I do not think it's probably going to see play. It did see play again in OCG, but the meta was so much slower than it is here. Like, here we're OTKing every other turn, so I don't think it's going to work here. So now comes the weird stuff. Like, for example, I mean, Star Pro. I'd like to include this, but I don't know if any of this stuff's going to be Limit 3. At the moment, it's not, but it doesn't mean it won't be forever. We also don't know if there's any Limit 1s. So, I mean, Pot of Greed. That's going to come in. We don't have a Legend Trap right now, so for now, I guess we'll put in a Widespread, but we might not even need Widespread, to be honest. So we're already at 33 cards. We've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Spell Traps is not actually that bad for right now. So if we can cut out 3 monsters, we're kind of already there. Fusion, yes. That is a good shout. We do need to play a Fusion. So let's take a look at the skill again. So add up to 2 cards from your deck or graveyard to your hand, either level 8 fusion level 8 monsters, monsters with 400 less defense, fusion, field spells, or equip spells. So we could play any field spell or equip spell, but I don't think any of the other ones are worth playing. So on a good turn, what is our primary discard? So we have, for example, Tarrasque, right? So send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard, then you can add Fusion or a Field Spell from your graveyard to your hand. So if we send Fusion or a Field Spell to the graveyard with the skill, we could activate this, send anything else to the graveyard, and then grab back the Fusion or the Field Spell. So, like, that kind of works. Obviously, Dragline is really good, because we could send Barkham up to the graveyard and then bring it back with Dragline, but that means we need to have the graveyard set up, and that means Dragline now gets stuck on the board. Now, we can get rid of Dragline if we use our fusion effects to pop it, but in an ideal world, we'll use Claw Shield so we won't have to pop anything. I mean, if we got the 2 guys, you discard Fusion, but they're unsearchable. Yeah, I mean, it comes down to if we have these 2, right? I mean, fundamentally, I guess we need both of them. That's the tricky bit. Because, like, theoretically... Like, Boka just doesn't do anything if we don't already have Nika. So we have to get Nika, which means we really need Boka in the graveyard. Which means we need a way to get Nika back to our hand, which... is not easy. I mean, we could use Canteen to put it on top of our deck, but then we need a way to draw into it. Right now, we're not playing anything to draw into it. I mean, like, Harkin, I guess, but... I confused them with the level 1. Wait, you talking about Tarrasque? Tarrasque discards, but these ones do get it back. Well, this gets back the field spell and equip spell. So if you get out Boka, you get one of these 2 to the graveyard, right? And then you can get a 3+ off that. The fire level 1. Oh, you're talking about Helmet? Helmet's fine. But Helmet is only good value if you have a field spell and fusion in the graveyard. Otherwise, you're just trading a card in your hand for a fusion. Like, you only get the plus if you have this and this in the bin at the same time. No? What do you mean, no? You send one card from your hand to the graveyard, except Fusion. You have the field in hand and the Fusion in grave. Send field, add back both. Yeah, but that, again, that only works if we already have graveyard set up. What we're talking about is if we don't have the graveyard set up already, how do we get, like, both of these into the bin, right? It's a +1. Well, yeah, but again, you're missing, like, you're skipping a step, right? You've basically said, if we already have this in the graveyard, we can get a +1. Which is, yeah, if we already have it in the graveyard, we could get a +1. We don't have a way to get it into the graveyard. We can get one of these into the graveyard quite easily, right? So, like, do it turn 2 with the discard. Well, yeah, we can put one of them in the graveyard, but then we just have to have the other one, right? So we'd have to specifically go helmet, have this in the graveyard, helmet effect, discard this, put this back into hand, and that's a +1. But that's, again, we would already have to have one of these 3 cards in hand, and we'd have to use both of our skill searches to grab the other 2, unless we're just lucky enough to draw into all 3. The other one is discard cost for helmet. Yeah, Giorfio, it's not... we know this is... We know how this works, okay? We have understood how this works. But the way that you're describing it is that we could just do this 100% of the time, all the time. But we can't, because we'd have to use 3 searches to guarantee we have all 3 of these cards, which we can't do, because the skill only lets us search twice. What about the worm discard draw one? There is potential for that, but I don't know if it would be worth. To be honest. It's a tricky one. Because, like, what is the benefit of getting a discard in this deck? Like, I guess getting Boca in the graveyard would be nice. If we are, like, flooded with Barkamuts, getting those out the hand would be nice. And then in terms of the draw, like, what value do we get out of the draw? Specifically, like, Canteen and Leaves? Because they could put a card on top and then we could just draw into them. Outside of that, do we get any value out of a discard draw? And on top of that, we then also have... God, what's his name? Picklon. We'd have Picklon, like, stuck on the field as well. Which also, like, doesn't help. The other thing to take note of is this deck is going to be milling a ton. Like, we're going to be milling so much with this deck, right? Like, if you think about it, Tarask mills 3, Nika mills 3, Boca mills 3. So these are like 3 cards that all mill 3. In our 30-card deck, we are going to go through our deck so quickly. Which means playing something like Dragline just to refill the deck, along with Total Destruction, could be really important. Does the skill lock into Worm? Yeah. The skill locks us into just Worms. Or every monster in your deck are Worm-type monsters. Alright. Let's go out on a limb. Let's assume... Sea Islet... What's our, like, average turn 1 going to look like? Do we have the ability to do... the, like, preview game? Is that a thing we can do on this? I forget how to actually make it work. Preview, no limits. Draw simulator. Here we go. So we'll shuffle, new hand. Alright, so this is our opening hand. What do we do with this? So, do we have the ability to, like, drag cards in? Because that would be helpful. Oh, we can do that. Okay. Alright. So this is our opening hand. Let's say we're going second, because we can't do anything going first anyway, right? So going second, we draw a card, we have this as our hand. We would activate our skill, because we have both of our skill targets. We could then search out... I mean, we could do Fusion plus Autumn Leaves. What does that get us? Let's put these over here for now. Wait, can I even do that? Oh, I have to click them. That's right. So let's say I add these two. Then we send Fusion to the graveyard. I don't think we have a way to put this into a graveyard. So this is now in the graveyard. Summon Helmet. Helmet effect. Discard Autumn Leaves. Get back Fusion. And then Helmet effect. Get back Autumn Leaves. We don't have a monster in the graveyard right now to use Autumn Leaves. But that's fine because we've got everything in the world we could want. We could go Tarask. Discard Boka before we use Helmet. That's another thing we could do to get Boka in the graveyard to get Nika online. Basically, this can get Fusion and Field with use Helmet to +1. Well, you can do potentially more than that, right? Because we've got both Nika and Boka. What we could do instead is summon Tarask, use Tarask effect, send Boka, add back, in this situation, I guess it would be Fusion. Which we don't necessarily need, but we can do. This is where it gets tricky though, right? Because now we don't have anything in the graveyard if we do that play. So then if we summon Nika, we can reveal mill 3. Then bring back Boka. Boka effect, send 3. But then we don't have... We would have to just get lucky to mill our equip spell. And our field spell is not already in the graveyard, because we would already have it in our hand. So it's just a bunch of gambling. So is that even worth it? Or is the better play just to do Helmet? I mean, this gets you a +1. That's like the benefit of it. And it's an extra body, so we contribute for Bakumat. I mean, this sends 2 cards from hand, but it only destroys face-up level 8 or lower monsters, so I don't think it's going to bother doing anything most of the time. I think most of the time your opponent's going to set cards. When you discard the field spell or fusion with Desk Worker, add it back after milling 3. So we've already talked about that. But the downside there is now you don't get anything off of Boka. So you've not, like, gained anything. You've kind of just broken even. Send the field spell, get it back with Boka. But we can't... Meh, I guess? So then... Right, so the play would then be summon Tarask. This is already in the graveyard. Summon Tarask, activate the effect, discard the field spell, add back Fusion. Or I guess it doesn't... Yeah. Add back Fusion. So we're still back to, like, net even. We're at 6 cards still. Then we'd have to summon Nika, not use Nika's effect. Summon Boka, use Boka's effect. Mill 3, add back the other one. So now we have everything back in our hand. So now we're at 7 cards. Then we could tribute 2 for Bakumat, which would probably be both of these 2. So now we have this out. Now Nika's effect is live. So we can use Nika's effect to bring back Boka. So that's another +1. But that doesn't get us anything, because we don't need anything back from the graveyard unless, again, we've milled an equipped spell. So instead of doing that, you just summon Helmet, I guess? If you use Helmet, bam, we can go into... Wait, our extra deck isn't even here. Well, we go into our guy. Can we do this? And it'll... No, it doesn't hold it. Well, that's a shame. We go into this guy. Then we could pop... I suppose we could do this, then go into... Then use Nika's effect to bring back Boka. For the, I guess it's the first time. Get rid of one of them to use Bakumat's effect to pop 2 cards on the opponent's field. So what would that leave us with? That would leave us with 1 guy plus Dangerous Bakumat plus the field spell? Is that it? Is that everything we would have after that? Let's go back to this quick. So we had you, we had you, we had you, and then we had you and you. Yes, you could technically make the Boka Nika fusion plus the tribute summon, or maybe even big fusion if you get lucky with the mills. I mean, you can make the big fusion regardless, right? It just comes down to, like, what's the benefit? Because the big fusion, you could blow your opponent's board out the way. You can get rid of 2 monsters. and you'd have a piercing attack, but like you don't necessarily need the piercing attack, right? Or you don't necessarily need to pop their monsters out the way, because if they've gone set 3, we could just attack over them with piercing, and that's fine as well. Let's say you hit another Boka with first Nika or Tarask, or maybe you use them both before skill in case you hit fusion or field. Oh, that's a shout, actually. We could do it before... So then it gets tricky, because if... The way it works is, we only get Nika's effect... Well, I guess we don't only. We only get the summon of Boka if Boka's already in the graveyard. So ideally, we want Boka in the graveyard before we activate Nika. Tarask only gives us a card back if we were to mill, fusion, or the field spell. Right, we are in an ad break, so we'll let the ad break tick away quick. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the ads are gone. Welcome back. So, we would only get we'd only break even with Tarask if we had one of these engraved. So, because our opening hand didn't have either of these two, we have to search them both with skill. If we use Tarask, it's just a -1, unless we get lucky. Which means we could do that. We could use Tarask, mill 3, by sending Boka. Then we'd have to summon out Nika to bring back Boka just to get us back to even. So now we're back to like 5 card advantage. Then we would probably sit on Boka and then decide if we want to use the skill and then search based on what we've milled. Because at this point we've now milled 6 cards. So now there's like an okay chance we've gotten one of these in the graveyard already, I guess. Maybe make 8. Okay, let's walk through that line. If we added this instead, we're going to need this, right? So the line would be... I still think we do this first. Probably? Ooh. No, I don't think there's any way around it. So if we use the skill first, we send Leaves to the graveyard. We could summon out Tarask, send Boka, add back Leaves. Then... summon out Nika. Nika's effect, bring back Boka. So we've got 3 bodies on board right now. We would then tribute probably Tarask and... well, we have to use Boka first. I guess we would just shotgun Boka. Even though Peaks is no longer in the graveyard. So we're just going to hope that we mill into a fusion. No, an equip spell. So we'd have to mill, if we want to get a plus, into Claw Shield. Otherwise we're just milling. Then we could tribute to summon out Barkama. Summon out Helmet, tribute like Tarask and Helmet to get out a second Barkama. Both are getting a boost from the field spell, and then that gives us 2 2800 pierces. Which is like, that's not bad. That's not like the craziest board, but like that's not a bad board. And then we would have put one of them on top of our deck as well, so we have something ready for next turn, which would probably be the Helmet back on top, because then we have it ready for skill target for next turn. With the other hand, I think you could end Barkama, Emperor, and Autumn Leaves. Which one's Emperor? Is Emperor the fusion? We could with the other hand. Well, again, it's kind of the same hand. If we did it this way round, we can go... send fusion with skill, summon out Tarask. Tarask, send... Boka? I still think it's probably the play. Add back the other. Then... Nika, bring back Boka. Probably just fire off Boka. But then how do we end up with the second... the generic fusion? Oh, you want us to make, the 2500 guy? Is that better? Maybe? Because we'd have to make it using that and that. Tribute 2, then summon, use that, do those 2. I mean, that works. The only downside is... we want, ideally, to use Helmet to get back Fusion, but this line doesn't do that. Because this gets us back the Field Spell. It doesn't get us back the Fusion. We'd have to use that to get back the Fusion. That gets us the Fusion already. I guess you could use Tarask late. No, I don't think that works. I think the thing we're trying to do as well is find a way to have, like, a relatively consistent way to really make a strong board. And I'm not seeing... Like, this is a good hand, but, like, compare this to, like, what Dark Galaxy is doing right now, and I don't know if it's better. If we get lucky, right, if we just, like, mill Claw Shield to the graveyard, suddenly this hand becomes, like, better. And then, obviously, we tailor the hand as well based on what our opponent's got. If our opponent has a Shady, like, if we feel a Shady on any of these summons, like, what do we do then? Because, like, ooh. The main issue here is it's super expensive to make decent plays early. Yeah, I mean, that fundamentally does seem like the problem. Nothing cheats the Tribute Summons. So we have one way to treat the Tribute Summons, and that's this. This is the only way we have to do it. The downside is it's a bit awkward. It's a little bit awkward. Because... not only do we need the graveyard set up, so we already need to have the boss engrave, which getting the boss engrave isn't too bad. We could just send it with the skill. Or we could send it with Harass, right? Or we could send it with Helmet. Getting the boss into the grave isn't the problem. We have to make sure we have enough worms in graveyard, which again shouldn't be too troublesome. But you just know when you're actually playing the deck, you're going to be sat there with like 2 in graveyard half the time, like, why can't I use this? And then the third problem is this guy then gets stuck on the board. Because we would need another tribute summon to get rid of it, or we'd have to fuse it with a helmet into the bad fusion. Like, those are the 2 things, right? So it's Royal Rebel. I mean, Royal Rebel has a way to, like, cheat their guys out, right? The boss that reborns. What, you want Gantry Dragon? Is this the one we're talking about? This one brings back specifically Bill Dragon. And then Bill Dragon is this one. But Bill Dragon only brings back normal monsters. So it's like... I mean, the other thing you could do is just play the old... the old worms. Like, the old worms would probably also be fine. Because now that they've got this field spell. Like, just going into, like, Gantry into Bill Dragon into Drag Crush with Autumn Leaves of Blistopia. That's not too hard to do. Like, it's not, like, the easiest thing in the world, but it's not, like, super hard. The downside would be, ideally we'd want to use this skill. And in order to use this skill, we kind of want to have the 3 Bark commands. And, like, a world where we're playing, like, triple Bark Command, triple Gantry, triple... Well, I guess we don't need triple Gantry. We could get away with, like, 1 Gantry, 1 Bill Dragon. Play the -1 tribute field spell. You could, but then you lose, like, all of the power that you have. They're all searchable. Yeah, exactly. But, like, we could do, like, this. And just, like, include, like... Just throw them in. Like, now we're at 36 cards, so we're getting a little bit crazy. But, like... Getting these into the grave is not going to be too difficult. And they're level 8s, which means if... Right, I'm not saying we necessarily will do this, but if we wanted to... We can also play Trade-In. Like, we've got so many 8s in the deck now. I don't think we necessarily need to play Trade-In, but, like, it's an option. Silver Mountain is awkward to use turn 2. Yeah. It's very... It's one of those things where you fix a problem, but then it creates another problem, right? So it's just, like... It doesn't actually solve the overall issues. Part of me is like, we have too many spell traps in here. I feel like this is going to end up being a Monster Mash deck. But, like, I don't know what you cut out of this. If this deck has a limit 3, it makes it a lot easier because we just take out Star Pro. Trading looks very nice. I mean, especially since you can search targets for it. So, like, it's always going to be live. But, like, at what point are we just playing so many spell traps? Like, are we playing a 40-card deck? The issue with playing 40 cards is... Now we're reducing the likelihood that we find a skill target to actually get us going. Right? Because we need a skill target, otherwise the deck just doesn't work. And since there's only 6, ideally we want to play as few cards as possible so we have a high chance to draw it. Just play Star and the Mirror Force? Well, that just takes this out, right? But you kind of need the rest of these. I assume we're not cutting, like, Pot of Greed. Has to be 30 cards. So right now, this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spell traps. Which already feels like a lot. I think you don't, like, necessarily need Claw Shield. Like, cut Tarask? Hmm. We cut Tarask. So the main issue I see is we're going to need discards. Tarask is also searchable. So what we could do is cut Tarask down to 1. I don't hate that, because then if we have 1, because of our skill, we always have access to it if we actually need it for something. I don't know how I feel about this fucker. Like, do we care about Steeplejack? Alright, let me make a second one over here quick. So I don't have to keep, like, losing my stuff as I go and take a look at extra deck monsters. Let's grab these guys out. We'll turn on hovers. So, this is the Steeplejack fusion. Are we ever making this? Add a level 8 or higher Worm-type monster and or 1 fusion from your graveyard to your hand, then destroy 1 card on your field. This is not bad, and I would like to have the option to make this. But I don't know if it's worth playing the one of Steeplejack just to facilitate sometimes making this. Why would you ever need it in the late game when there's Helm, which is just better? Well, this can get back a field spell, I suppose, is the... But this can also get back a field spell. But I suppose this only gets back a field spell if you get back fusion. So you'd have to have one of them and then one in hand. If you've got, like, the field spell on the field, I guess then you just get back fusion. So you'd have to have, like... The time this is bad is if fusion is, like, already on the field and you want to get this back, and for whatever reason you can't activate fusion. So I guess that just doesn't matter. The benefit this card has is the discard, but I don't know how much the discard's actually going to matter. Yeah. Especially if we are also planning to remain on trade-in. Because that basically gets a... Steeplejack gets a level 8 back to our hand, doesn't it? Helmet gets back fusion and field spell, then the fusion gets back gantry. You're not wrong. Because you could even just tribute over this if you wanted to, just to do the whole play. The other thing is, currently, right now, this Build Dragon is just bringing back Steeplejack, because it's the only normal. If we wanted to use it, like, at maximum power, we'd have to put in... Is it called Drake Crush now? We have to put this in. But I don't know if this is worth playing. It's not level 8, so it's not searchable. It's not got 0 defense, so it's not searchable. And it's nice that it's got a big attack stat, but, like, I think I'd just rather have Steeplejack, to be honest. Oh, the other thing we could actually do is play the Legend Monster. What's it called? What is the Legend Monster called? Spiral Dragon? Is that level 8? This thing. Hold. This thing actually maybe. This thing may be actually quite good. Now it comes down to, is it worth playing it? Like, kinda? I think kinda. Bring back the level 4 is fine if we don't have Limb 3 means good fodder for Star Pro. Yeah, I mean, plus just having it in rotation is also just useful. This is the issue, though. 37 cards. Right, we could probably take out Tarask. You want us to run 1 Princess? But the deck's getting kind of crazy now. Also, what does Princess do for us? This one. So if we have Princess, that means we can play Build Dream. If we have Build Dream, we can send a card from our field zone to the graveyard to destroy 2 monsters. Which, like, I mean, I guess that's fine, but... I'm not vibing with it, personally. You can cut Barkio. Barkio. Do we need Canteen? I like the idea of Princess was just that Steeplejack fusion, get back a fusion, so I wanted to make something with it. Yeah. I mean, it's an option, right? It's still an option. It's just... So this is a 3+1. Like, straight up, this is just a 3+1. So I'm kind of hesitant to remove it. This is a 3+1, as well as special summons a monster. And if we bring back Build Dragon with its effect, we can grab a monster with 0 defense. Do we have any 0 defenses at the moment? I don't know if we have... Well, we have specifically Steeplejack, because we're not playing the maximum pieces right now. You need to play Gantry Dragon? We don't need to. We were just thinking about it, because we can search it, right? So we can use the skill to set up the graveyard. So we can get Build Dragon in the graveyard. We can get Phantasm Spiral Dragon in the graveyard. Then we can just, whatever we want, like, effectively every single turn, we could just go Gantry into Build Dragon into Spiral. Like, once it's set up. Which is, technically, this is a 2-turn setup. Right? One turn just gets, like, one of them in the graveyard. The other turn searches the other two, puts the other one in the graveyard. Right? Yeah, it's literally Steeple. So this is a +2, which gets us back a Steeple if Steeple's already in the graveyard. How many low levels right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 low levels is not a bad amount, to be honest. It's just 36, right? This is the other weird one, Harkin. I still don't know how I feel about Harkin. Hello, Hunter. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, exactly what Human said. I don't know about my Draw 2 guy. I think he's really good. He is a bit win more, but, like, that +2 could genuinely win you the game. He's not searchable. Harkin is whatever. The thing is, Harkin is like Curse, in that, in some games, it does literally nothing and is like the worst card in your deck. And then in other games, gives you a Pot of Greed and pops off and is the strongest card in your deck. So it comes down to how much value do we put in a card that will sometimes be a Pot of Greed on legs. Like, I think we could cut it. We could absolutely cut it. But I kind of like playing it at 1. And the reason why is if your opponent, let's say you're playing a best of 3, and your opponent sees you're playing Harkin, you guarantee they are going to be keeping 2 cards in their hand, just in case, right? How many cards are synergy with the equip? So the equip works with Dangerous Barkma, because Dangerous Barkma destroys a card on your field. It works with Constructor, which also destroys a card on your field. So it specifically works with these 2. Like, that's where the actual synergy comes in. Oh, stuff that adds it back. Adds it back would be specifically Boka. Is it just Boka? Yeah, I think it's just Boka. It's just Boka. Boka is the only thing that brings back a equip spell. If it's just Boka, I'd cut it. I mean, the other thing is, though, our skill adds it back. So, like, because we can add him from deck or graveyard. So we can just get it back whenever we want, which is at least something. He also gets back field. I suppose the question comes, though, how often is the field spell going to be in the graveyard? This also lets you add both, right? Because we can add a field spell and an equip spell, each from your graveyard to your hand. So, you know, it's not like it's one or the other. If they're both in there, we can grab them both. Boka is a really weird card as well. Just because we need to have Nika, which means if we just find all of our Bokas before Nika, or like our Bokas just aren't doing anything, basically early game, right? No, it's you can also add one field spell and equip spell each from your graveyard. So this should, if I recall correctly, allow you to add one or... Let me double check that. Let's get this up quick. Let me go over to here. let's just double check that works how I think it does. We'll just use EDO to check this. We'll clear this out. We'll go... Christ, what are the cards called? Nope, we're on the wrong thing here. So we'll do this. We don't have the new names. I forgot what their old names were. There we go, perfect. We've got these guys. We'll grab back... I don't know, an equip spell of some description. So... Let's just go on anyone. Yeah, perfect. Then we'll grab a field spell, which will be... Right, we'll add 2 of these. We're going to need 2 of these. We're going to need this. We're going to need probably 2 of these. And then we're going to want a boss monster, so we'll just put the Bill Dragon in. Alright, if I do this... That should be fine. Then we'll just add in a bunch of crap. Hand test settings. No opponent. Starting hand 4. Rush duel. Don't shuffle deck. Alright. Let's double check, make sure this works how we think it does. So we'll activate this. Activate this to get that in the graveyard. For here, we'll just set these 2. We'll pass. Alright. So we'll flip this up. Activate this, target this. Get it in the graveyard. Normal. Activate the effect. Reveal. Bring back Poker. We'll summon this, and we'll activate this. Okay, so we can add 1 back if we want to. Alright, this time we just won't send the equip spell to the graveyard, and we'll see what happens. We'll just make it sure. We'll just make sure that it works how we think it works. Summon this out. Summon. Activate the effect. Reveal. Bring back the boy. Summon it out. Activate the effect. Yes. Okay, so we can add just 1 back if we want. But that should be everything we need there. The wording is weird. It should work like that, though. That is how it should work. Because generally this follows... EDO basically programs it to try and follow the rules of OCG, right? So that's how it should work at OCG. But I do get what you're saying. I mean, right now, though, we only have to cut 4 cards. I'm actually tempted to cut 1 copy of Trade-In, just to get the number of spell traps down a little bit. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So currently this is 10 spell traps. I think that's actually not too bad. So now the question becomes, what else do we cut? We could just cut this, as we've already been saying. That puts us down to 32. I mean, 32 is Aqua numbers. 32 isn't, I guess, awful. But I don't like it. I'd still much rather it was down to 30. If we cut Steeple, we cut the Equip. I mean, we could just cut both, and then that is a 30-card deck. But I do wonder if that is the best way to do this. Because we could do this. Effectively, what we've done now is we have built the deck around this combo, right? It's basically built around activate Autumn Leaves, summon out 3 big guys with Piercing and Slap. Which means we're not really playing around Dangerous Bark come up, but like that doesn't necessarily matter. The other fusion can pop the field, it doesn't matter. But yeah, you're not wrong. Right, let's check this out then. Let's see what we get. That's a hand. Right, so again, we're going to go second, because going first, we're not doing anything with this. So we'll draw a card. This is kind of fine. We have to have fusion in the graveyard if we want to activate this, though. So we have to have fusion if we want to get a discard. So if we activate the skill, I thought you would test the new ban list deck, like Noodles, for example, and how they get their buff. There's literally no point, Hunter, when we're literally about to get new Noodle cards. Why would I bother testing this, like, weird fake format? Let's say you can draw 2. What do you mean I can draw 2? If we activate the skill, what could we do with this right now? Are we just kind of... You got the draw 2 guy? I mean, he's not... We don't have the draw 2 guy. We have Canteen. We took the draw 2 guy out of the deck for now. Now, this is the place a worm monster from your graveyard on the top or bottom of your deck, and then add a helmet or a worm-type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. I'm trying to think like what the best thing to do with this is. Probably... We can add the fusion, but we're probably not doing a fusion, is the thing. Right? We could add the field spell, but like we're not doing anything with this. We could add the field spell, tribute both, go for the, What we could do, this is going to be a bit weird. We could add field spell and the normal monster. Where's Steeplejack? Am I blind? Where is Steeplejack? Did we take Steeple out? We took Steeple out! Oh, Steeple would have been good here. Because we could have used Canteen to bring back Steeple. I suppose here, then, instead, I want a low-level body, right? Which I think right now, with the way we've built this, it has to be a helmet. We don't have any other searchable low levels. So then, I could grab these two, discard like this. Then I could summon both of these guys. Tribute both for Bill Dragon. Activate Autumn Leaves. Put one of them on top of the deck. Or on the bottom, it doesn't really matter. Then... Oh no, because then we wouldn't have another one in Graveyard. I guess we'd have this in Graveyard. Why you want Steeple? So if we had Steeple, we could have gone... Build... why not add the legend, send it like... Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing we could do. I was trying to find a way to get out 2 bosses from this hand. Because if we went, like, summon this, get this back to hand, then we could tribute both to summon out another guy. But, yeah, it literally doesn't work. I think the better thing to do is just grab this, send this to Graveyard, summon, tribute both, go into this, activate this, put one of them... like this back on top, bring back Phantasm Spiral. Is that the best we could do with this? And then we just get stuck with these two in hand? I think that is just the best we could do, right? I mean, that's not bad, I guess. It also means that if at any point we open a Bill Dragon or a Spiral or a Gantry, we always have access to this. Well, I guess we'd also need a skill target, right? Right, let's do a new hand. Let's see what we get here. That's a hand. Right, again, we're going second. We'll activate Pot of Greed. So I'll go ahead and draw 2. I'll put that back in, I guess. What happens if I draw? Is that going to give me the Pot of Greed again? We'll work that out when we come to it. I guess we always activate Trade-In. And we'll discard this. Right, so I'm going to go 1, 2. Then I'm going to put these 2 away. This is in my graveyard right now. So we'll just keep that over there as it's in the graveyard. I mean, this looks pretty good, right? Is the skill turn 2 only? That is a question. From turn 2 onwards. Yes. So what do we want to do here? We could put this in the graveyard as well. So we could... Right, so we'll have to go, what, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Then we'll put all of these back, because we've now discarded this as well. We have a skill target, so we can activate skill. Then off of the skill, we could just grab this, and... where's Gantry? Gantry. Then we send... I guess we could just send, like, Boka to the grave. Summon out Nika. Nika effect mill 3. Bring back Boka. Boka effect... I mean, we're not going to get anything back with it, but we could do it for the sake of it. Tribute both. Summon out Gantry. Gantry effect. Bring back Bill Dragon. Bring back Spiral Dragon. And everything's got piercing. So what does that end us up with? We end up with a 28, a 28, and a 32, all with piercing. I mean, that's not bad. And we also have trap cards to protect us. That seems kind of crazy. Hello, Hikari. Welcome, welcome. We're doing exclamation mark Hikari in the chat. We're just theory crafting at the moment, Hikari. You've come at an interesting or a boring time, depending on what kind of viewer you are. You win over set 3 with this play if no trap. Exactly. I mean, this is pretty good. And even if our opponent has a trap, we have a trap to protect ourselves, right? We just set one of these, keep the other one in hand. That's like 2 turns of pretty much being almost guaranteed you're not going to die. Which is really good. I mean, this looks like it's got some potential. The only sad thing about the way we've built this is right now, we're not really making use of our fusions. Like right now, our fusions are an afterthought in the way that we've built this. Let's try again. Let's see what this hand gets us. Alright, so draw for turn. Activate Pot of Greed, so we'll draw 2. Go ahead and put this back for now. We have skill target. We have this, but we don't have a lot of ways to we can just mill 3 with this. But that's fine. Is there anything else? Would we activate skill first, or would we mill 3 and just see what we get? I mean, if we activated skill, what do we get out of it? Right now, like, not a lot. If we milled 3, the downside is we would mill these 3. These are the next 3 in the deck. So our mills are garbage here. Our mills are actual garbage. Fusion plays are kind of ass, to be honest. Investing so many cards for a single pop 2 is terrible. Yeah, kinda. I mean, you're not wrong. But there will be some situations where it is, like, necessary. It'll be really, really helpful. I guess just trying to think of it as, like, the main play of the deck is maybe just not the way to go. I might be hyped to play Earthworm than Fireworms with the skill. The issue is, when you play this deck, if you want to use this skill, you need to play 3 Helmet. You need to play 3 Barkhammer. So you're already sort of playing Fireworms, right? I mean, this is looking pretty good. Like, as things stand. I think this build is looking kind of tasty. I'd have to, like, test it against actual decks and see how it actually feels. But, like, even if you get stopped, like, if you get hit with a Shady, for example, I feel like it doesn't, like, shut your turn down. You could still just keep going, depending on what hand you've got. Because you have a lot of tribute monsters. You can just tribute over. Like, if anything, your opponent's going to want a Shady the second you slab a Gantry Dragon down, right? Don't know about Canteen. Canteen is... Canteen can be really good, right? First off, it can put a card on top of your deck. That's pretty good. Also, it gets back Helmet, which can give you skill activation if you don't already have it. So, it's a weird one. Won't Music Princess run the Mirror Force? How can Music Princess run Mirror Force? When you have to shuffle back 6 worm monsters. Because the other thing to remember is, Canteen is also just a +1, right? This is like a Seahorse carrier, right? Ruin? Wait, are we saying that... Are we calling Widespread Ruin Mirror Force? Because if that's the case, I mean, yeah, they'll play it. I don't see why they wouldn't play it. Well, with this build currently, I mean, this is just not useful, like, at all. I can't see a world where this is helpful. This is useless most of the time. This we can't summon because we've taken out Steeplejack. Oh, won't... Won't Music Princess just pop our trap? Ah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah. That's why we've got this one, right? This is for everything that can't pop it immediately, right? Widespread Ruin is the most overrated card in the game. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Right, let's shelf this for now. Let's take a look at another deck. Because this is... I want to take a look at what we could do with the maximum version of this deck. I'm curious to see what it would look like. And if it looks like Giga Cope or not. Let's face it, it's probably going to be Giga Cope. But I want to see what it looks like. I don't know how deep we're going with this, but we'll have a look. So the one thing is, all of these cards can be searched with the skill. Because they all have 0 defense. You can add max piece. You absolutely can add max piece. The downside is, we have to play all of these guys, which don't really make this strategy any better. Right, what other cards are we going to want here? Before Music Princess was unnerfed, Widespread wasn't bad. There you go. Only one head. Oh, that's not a bad shout, actually, because we could do that, and then that also makes room for this. Or we could play... we could only play one of this as well, actually. That's not bad, because we could just search... Again, we could search it with a skill. I'm wondering at what point are we, like, putting so many one-offs because we could search them. Because, like, Bill Dragoon is a draw one, right? We could just... If you think about it, you could just grab out an L or an R piece, summon it, tribute it for Bill Dragoon, draw a card, and then perform a fusion summon if we've got anything worth fusion summoning. Or we just don't do it, right? It's so funny that this guy having 1,000 defense is actually hurting us right now. So the skill gives us a +2, so we just have to find one maximum piece. What we could do is play 3, just because the reason I would play 3 of this is just if we open any of these, one of these 9 cards, we have a full maximum. Any maximum piece, doesn't have to be a maximum mode. I'm trying to think what, like, the other cards we play in this are going to be. Like, what is our back row going to look like in this deck? We could also just, like, try and maximize our chances of finding one of these 9 cards. Because, again, any one of these 9... Well, I guess we need any one of them and one of these 2. Like, that is the secret sauce. We need one of these 2 and any of these. Are we assuming it's a 1 times in game? What do you mean by that, Jorfio? Does Full Orchestra kill our field spell or just sets? That's a good question, actually. Let's have a look. It's something that doesn't usually come up that much. All face down cards in spell and trap zones. So for 2 different reasons, it does not destroy it. The level 10 guy. Yeah, but what do you mean by 1 times? Oh, I guess you're... Oh, right, I see what you're saying, Yeah, I think we only need to have 1 copy of this, because we can just grab it with the skill. That's the logic. But again, we could put 3 copies in. Because the other thing we can do as well is... If we close that, we can put in... Heavenly Gift. Because again, we can discard the level 10, and this is another level 10. So, like, we can just Giga draw through if we want. Potentially as well, maybe Bliss is worth playing? I don't know. It's one of those, like, I want to play Star Pro. But Star Pro in a maximum deck, I'm just not sure about that, you know? Maximum back on the menu, I mean, we're having a look. Yeah, I'm trying to find a trap card that works well with the max, because we don't have Time Machine yet. Time Machine is what we want. Just for as a thought exercise, guys. This card is so good with maximums. So when exactly 1 monster is destroyed by battle, special summon that monster from the graveyard to the same field it was on, in the same battle position it was on when destroyed. If the monster was in maximum mode, take all cards that were used for it and special summon it in maximum mode. So basically you get to say, well, if your guy dies, just bring it back. Which is so good. But we don't have this card yet, unfortunately. This is what I want to play. Alright. What's the obvious ones? We're playing Pot of Greed. Are we playing... We're probably playing the Worm Mirror Force, right? I would assume we're playing Total Destruction. Field Spell's a good one as well. Why is... When you search the word worm, why is the field spell not hit? Oh, it's out this way. Thief? Oh, you want us to play Nobody Scat Thief? Nobody Scat Thief is not a bad shout, actually. Because, like, we could use this to, like, save our life when this gets popped. Or we could use it to, like, dig for more pieces. Are you playing Claw? Claw is the other thing that we are probably going to play. Claw, I think, gets extra value in this deck because we're making one big guy. And having one big guy that can't be destroyed by card effects is really good. But hello, Quantum. We'll do an exclamation mark Quantum as well. I like giving shout-outs to Quantum. Bam. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is actually not a bad number of spell traps right now. I don't know about that, though. What, you don't like Thief, or you don't like Claw Shield, or you don't like that we gave Quantum a shout-out? Because, I mean, to each their own. We're still kind of low on traps as well. We don't have a Legend Trap still. With nothing that can +1 for the equip. Well, the skill is a +1 for the equip. So, like, that's something. Shady's not a bad shout. Let's go back to the worms. Let's go back to the worms. We'll have a cheeky peruse. Because the other thing is, like, are we gonna go back to playing like Nika Boka? Because I mean we could. So what are we not playing? We weren't playing this one either, right? Are we getting Depot? Or was he not in the leaks? He wasn't in the leaks. That's kind of wild. Maybe he's going to be the rerun. Maybe it'll be him and the one that can be treated as 2 tributes. As our rerun, guys. No skill gets it, but you're realistically never doing it. But you could... Right, so the question becomes, right? What you're fundamentally doing is the priority is get out the maximum. That is your prio. After that, I think then it becomes like a toss-up as to whether the next highest priority is Peaks of Blistopia to start getting damage in. Or Claw Shield to add a level of protection. Because Claw Shield is actually really annoying for a lot of decks to deal with. Because your monster can't be destroyed by battle, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. And this card can't be destroyed by card effects, so the only way to break this is if they get rid of Peaks. And how many decks can actually pop your field spell? I mean, realistically, yeah, we need this before we get to this. But if we have Peaks, how many decks currently can pop this? Like, as we've already said, Music Princess doesn't really. Making a max now is basically useless. What do you mean by that? Like, the whole point of a maximum typically is that you're going to sit on it for a while, right? What does that mean, Skywings? I don't dislike the idea of Shady, though. Shady might be a good one. Every deck can remove it. Let's think about this. If you're against Elemental Heroes, they can't out the maximum that easily. Especially if it's a maximum equipped with an equip spell. Because Elemental Heroes would... I guess it comes down to... Because I think Burst Wingman can pop face-ups, can't it? If Burst Wingman can pop the equips or the field spell... Yeah, destroy a spell trap on the opponent's field. So Burst Wingman easily outs it. Radius... Spread Bomb is also, I think, just any card. I don't think it cares. Yeah, just any spell trap. Yeah, everyone seems to have like a really easy way to deal with it. Just make a big wigman. Alright, but if you had this guy, and this, how is your opponent outing it? Radius kills by battle? Yeah, but what? Again, if we have Claw Shield, he can't be killed by battle. Which means we basically can't lose to Shining Flare, because he's never going to get the burn damage in. So he'd just attack over it, and then we'd live. Right? So he'd have to do a Burst Wingman play to clear the Autumn Leaves. That's the linchpin. With Gradius, it comes down to how big this thing gets. Because this thing can get real big. But again, both of those decks that we're talking about can both pop Autumn, like, very easily, can't they? So Konami knows what they were doing by not giving us the other two Fireworms. Maybe potentially. I don't think any of the rest of that matters. Do you matter, Tarask? You get back a field spell, which is a +0 as well, so it's kind of whatever. Is the Boca combo going to be any good? We mill a bunch of cards, which is good. This gets back the equip spell as well, which can be useful. I mean, just as, like, stuff, we could just chuck these in. I don't know if they'd actually, like, make the cut. What does popping fields do? So if we have Claw Shield, this card has an extra effect. If either player has a card in their field zone, the equipped monster and this card cannot be destroyed by card effects, which just gives you like an extra level of protection, right? So if the field spell gets popped, now Shield can get popped, and now our monster can get popped. The equipped spell is good versus the shit deck and Ether. Exactly! Well, even Ether, right? Ether pops the... I guess it's actually really good against Ether, because Ether then have to pop Peaks or Autumn Leaves, and then next turn you just get back Autumn Leaves, and they can only do one pop a turn. I think we have Battle Prevention anyway, right? Yeah, we have Battle Protection regardless if the field spell's up or not. Don't put those in with so few fire monsters. Oh, that is a good shout, actually. Yeah. We're going to want something else in here, though. We're locked into Worm, so this is what we got. We could just put Harkin in. But, like, Harkin's not spectacular. Canteen just gets back Helmet and puts a card to the top of your deck, but I don't think that's super worth outside of just getting a skill target. I mean, maybe that is what we do. Maybe we just get him back as a skill target rather than, like, gambling on Harkin. Ether can't beat it, this deck, at all, besides without Marju. Even with Marju, though, right? Let's say your opponent goes... if you get your combo up, right? If you've got Maximum, you've got Field Spell, and you've got Equip Spell, right? Your opponent goes Ether, pop the Field Spell, because it's the only thing they can pop. We still have a giant guy who has protection from battle. So they go Marju, run into it, we take a little bit of damage. Next turn, we play Peaks of Blistopia again. And then we'll just keep drawing cards and getting a +1 every turn because of our skill until we eventually just kill our opponent, right? Because we'll eventually be bigger. The other thing is we do have this Build Dragoon who is able to make like some fusion plays. Right now, we can make Dangerous and we can make Barkhakaiser. These are the two we can make right now, which is like not bad as like a backup play as well. I mean, overall, I think this build looks a lot more competitive. But like, this is like playable. They can pop the field spell and then pressure. Yes, if they're playing the pressure version. It comes down to a lot of people aren't playing the pressure version. Like some people like swear by it, like it's without a doubt like the best version of the deck. For me personally, I still prefer the trap heavy version. I still think our trap lineup's a bit weird. We don't have a legend trap either at the moment. This is kind of like a very hodgepodge version, but this is like potentially a direction this deck could go in, right? I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking forward to playing this. This looks really weird to play. Alright, we have been spending a lot of time on worms though. Let's move on to something else, just so we got something else going on. Let's just try some noodles. Let's try some noodles. Would our mirror even activate? What do you mean? If their opponent attacks us, then we can use it, right? We just need to have worm monsters in the graveyard. That's the only condition. Alright, noodles. Let's see what we're going to do with noodles. Yep, you're going to be in. You're going to come in. I don't know what we're doing with the rest of the noodles. Like, I mean, I want these guys because I want to make their fusions. This is now... I mean, this is always just a one-of. This being limit 1 makes it, like, so eh. And I want you... I mean, you're easily coming in as a 3, right? Let's try this out for now. Then we'll go ahead and chuck these in. We'll chuck these in. We need fusion. Let's chuck Splame in. It's not easy to get 6 monsters. Is there any way to get the bosses out from deck? Would we have 6? You don't need 6, by the way. So this is shuffle up to 6 from your graveyard into the deck. And then you just need the monsters you put in to have a total level of 16 or higher. So if you have 2 level 8s in the graveyard, that will do it on its own. If we have a 10 and then like 2 4s, that would also do it, right? So like it's fine. It shouldn't be difficult to get it. Yeah, up to 6. You can do... If we had 1 level 16 monster, we could just shuffle that back. This card is busted. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's just how it be. That's just how it be. Alright, what are we obviously missing from this deck? Let's get some Pyro cards up. See if there's anything that I have... Right, let's check that in quickly before I forget that. Let's take a look at... if it's going to load. Ember. Yep, Ember's a good shout. Probably want this Ember as well. Wait, do we need this Ember? I'm trying to remember what, like, this... it's been so long since I've played this deck. Let me get the skill up. So it can be activated from turn 2 or by revealing 1 level 7 8 monsters from your hand during the turn in which you have not fusion summoned a monster. If all of the monsters in your constructed deck are fight actual Pyro monsters, and all the level 5 or higher monsters are 0 defense. Add up to 2 monsters from your deck and or graveyard to your hand that are either normal monsters, the Noodle Art Flavor Shift, or fusion cards. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. This turn you can only fusion summon once. So we need the legend as well, that's quite important. 3 back row hate is kinda needed. Is there anything else here that is necessary? Like, I mean, but... we'll come back to that. I'm not sure what we're going to do with you. We also don't have that many normals, but I don't think we can fit any more normals in. So now we'll search Pyro up here. Bam, bam, bam. Alright. The other question is, are we playing stuff like Spice? If we come down here, actually, I can turn the hovers on. Are we going to play stuff like the Noodle Art of Spicery? Or Stop the Fence? Or... I don't think we need it, because we can just pop monsters out of the way. We have Burn. We don't have any trap cards in this deck yet, either. Right now, we don't have any limit 3s, so we could do like this. We potentially don't need a legend spell, or a legend trap, even. But this is already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, 9 spell traps feels about right. I don't think we need more than that. If they put the Maximus at a 16 by itself? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. We have a fusion that can pierce, so you don't need a Spicery. There we go. Imagine attack 1, no delay, attack 2, Mirror Force. It's going to be exciting. But again, I think it's going to be a meme deck. I don't think it's going to end up being like a super strong deck. It's going to be like a clip farming deck. Alright, so let's see what we're doing right now. So right now, if I want to summon out extra spice, and I want to get it out cheap, realistically, we're summoning it off of Ember, or we're summoning it off of Flame Ruler. What does the skill specifically word? Add up to 2 monsters from your deck and or graveyard to your hand, either normal monsters or fusion. Okay, so we can only add normal monsters. So we can't always guarantee we're going to have the boss monster, so we have to run max copies of it, I think. The question becomes, like, this is kind of not a boss monster, but we are now playing 6 high levels, which is a bit... It's a bit yikes. I don't know about Sky Saviors. Yeah, Sky Saviors is going to be a weird one for sure. Definitely going to be a weird one. So Splame is really good in here, because obviously we want to turn Splame into these. That is our ideal. This is important. This is important. I mean, Stray is important, but it's not as important as a lot of the other stuff. Do we need 3 copies of Ember? That's the next question. Getting the boost is nice. But we could probably make do with just 1 copy of this, right? Unless there's something I'm, like, missing. Medley is also a weird one. But it's a normal monster, so we can search it. Normal Ember? I think it's... Mind you, we don't even need it, like, at all, right? Like, all we need it for is the boost from this, which I don't think matters. And if we need to just grab normal monsters to send with, like, extra spice, we can just grab Flavor Inspector, right? So, like, do we need any copies of this? Or I think 1 copy is probably fine, but we could drop down to 0. This is where it gets tricky, though, because now I'm like, what else are we cutting here? Like, I think the next best card to cut is probably Stray. But I don't want to cut Stray. Max will empty the grave very, very slowly. And it will probably also put back all the spell traps before it touches any of the monsters. So send the top 2 cards after we send a card from our hand. Then we can add a Pyro Normal, which we should always have a Pyro Normal in Graveyard. Or we get back Flavor Shift. But the skill gives... This Ninja a fusion, right? It does have a fusion, but it's not in the leak, so we're not expecting to get it. The other thing is, without this milling effect, we have, like, no milling in this deck at all, do we? Like, I mean, this is a mill. That's kind of it. Which means actually getting the graveyard set up might be a bit of a ball ache. Also, we have, very annoyingly, a 7 and an 8. Maximum Worm Mirror is going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting for sure. I think the worst card in this deck at the moment is actually Stray, as weird as that sounds. But this is a 30-card deck. But, like, what does this deck do? Like, let's assume everything goes well for us, right? Let's go... shuffle, 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 draw. No. New hand. This is our hand, right? So first things first. Again, we're going second, so we're going to draw a card per turn. We can activate skill. We can grab 2 cards, discard a card. So we already have Splame. I could send this to the graveyard, but I have nothing to Splame back. Because I need to have 2 Pyro monsters in the graveyard to shuffle back, whilst this also stays in the graveyard. We can grab Flavor Inspector. And then send a normal. Then we just get to summon this, but then what do I get out of that? Again, we're always, like, behind something. And so, yeah, Splame early game is going to be really awkward to make use of. Probably cut 1 to 2 bosses, because right now you play 3 special operatives and 7 bosses, so you can brick turn 1. I mean, you're not wrong, but then what do you cut? Because the issue is... this is probably still our best boss, which means we'd cut out extra spice, which means we wouldn't have any of the new stuff, really. It would just be Splame. It's pretty rough, no matter how you look at it. I actually think you might go down to just 1 copy of extra spice, just to try and thin out the bricks. Because I don't think extra meat is worth making. Cut medley? I mean, we can cut medley, I guess. Especially since we're not playing Secret Order in this build. We are in an ad break as well, so we'll let that tick away. Welcome back from the edges, everyone that got edges. Okay, so you are no longer needed. I guess you're at 3, you're at 3. I still feel like this deck doesn't accomplish much. I don't know, man. I also feel like we probably need more low levels, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess we just put Stray back in. I guess Stray makes the most sense, right? Bam, bam. You still play the Medley Fusion? Oh, because you can make the flavor shift. No, that's a good shout. That is a good shout. Speaking of, do we need to play any of Extra Spice if we can just name... I guess we need at least... What we need, or what we really want, I guess, is a way to just get Extra Spice in the graveyard. Because I don't ever really want to summon Extra Spice, just because it's quite expensive. I guess it's not too expensive if you can cheat it out using Flame Ruler or Ember, so like that's not actually that bad. But if Extra Spice is in the graveyard, it turns Splame on, which means we can make its fusion for a lot less, right? Because if we go like Splame plus Fusion plus Flavor Inspector, that's a 3-card combo to get to it. And then it draws us a card. That basically means it's now only a 2-card combo. So it's sort of like treating this like a contact fusion that also burns your opponent for 1,000. Then we should play 3 Stray. I mean, you're not wrong. We also do have ways to get Flavor Shift back because of the skill. Because now we can do it infinite times, which is nice, I guess. I just still don't see the vision. You know? That's my main thing. I can see the vision with this, even though it's a bit wacky. I can see the vision with this. With this, I don't know. I feel like we still fall over to, like, every trap card. We still don't get to, like, hit our opponent for a ton. I still think our best strategy is just Rich Broth Turbo and, like, pop the opponent's board out the way and get him some big direct attacks. Which, again, still loses to all the traps. We can go into extra meat. But let's just burn and then draw a card. Which means this is better to go into if you're in, like, a situation where you would be playing, like, 7s. You go into Paladin and use its draw. So, like, I can't get big damage in, so I'm just going to go for the draw. Noodles doomed for failure? I just think without... right now, I just think the best thing you can do with Noodles is make Rich Broth. Rich Broth is, like, the best boss monster. You go Rich Broth, you bring back your spice, you bully your opponent to death, you pop as much of this shit out the way as possible. Hunky dory. I don't think the burn draw is that great. Cook Matarian next. I'm not sure Matarian's going to be in a much better spot than this, if I'm being honest. Just cat back removal. Alright, let's take a look at the next deck. Ironically, the next one we have here is Sky Saviors. So, do we have all the noodle cards yet? No, of course we don't have all the noodles. We don't have the direct attack fusion. Not yet. But one of these days. One of these days. Alright, let's take a look at Sky Saviors quick. So we don't have you, we don't have you, we don't have you, we don't have you. We are getting you. We are getting you, we are getting you. We don't have you, we don't have you, we don't have you. We are getting you. No, yes, 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 no, no, no. Yes? I don't know if we're going to play that. Currently, no, but there's a card that mentions it, so maybe we're going to get this randomly somewhere? Yes, yes. Okay, so these are the Sky Savior cards we currently have. Add 3 shiny to try to make Noodle Burn control deck. Surely it can work. I'm not convinced. I think the Noodle Burn, the Noodle control strategy makes sense, but I think it works better just still as Broth control, right? You use trap cards to protect, and then you try and have a turn, ideally, where you don't use the skill, and you just make like double Broth and try and kill your opponent that way. I don't think the burn aspect works very well, especially because in order to go all in on it, we have to make a 29, which if it gets shaded, gives our opponent back 1500 life points, which I just don't think works. Reveal it to 5 fusion, only 4 extra deck. Well, read the card, right? Reveal up to 5 Celestial Warrior type monsters with different names in your extra deck. So all we need to do, guys, is put in a different Celestial Warrior. Look at that. Wait, not you maybe, because you're in a bit 3. Bam! Look, 5 different Celestial Warriors. We've done it. We've made it. I mean, assuming this is all unlimited, though, there is, like, so much crap we could do. We could put these in for a start. This can go in. We don't even have a legend. I don't even know if we need a legend right now, to be perfectly honest. Like, this is probably fine. Do we even need prayer? Send a card from your hand to the graveyard to Monster Reborn, a boss. So we would have already had to have a boss in the grave. What's our extra deck size at the moment in Duel Links? Is it 8 or 9? I actually forget. The skill? You want to see the skill? This is the skill. We'll make this a bit smaller. So from turn 2 onward, reveal a Soleil or Lure or Sky Savior Watch from your hand. So we want to max out on all of those. 8. Okay, 8. 8 is fine, because I don't think we're ever, if I find the right one, I don't think we're ever summoning this one more than once. So probably looks something like this, is what your extra deck's going to look like. Send up to 2 cards from your hand or field to the graveyard, then draw cards equal to the number of cards you sent to the graveyard, then place fusion from your deck or graveyard on top of your deck. So, that's where it gets a bit tricky, because if we're putting it on top of our deck, we're going to have to use these 2 to grab it out. But that does mean if we draw into these after, it's a bit awkward. So we have Langa, which is during the turn that you normal summon it, we can reveal a prayer or fusion from your hand to your opponent, which we can guarantee we're going to have fusion, because we can put it on top of our deck and then summon out a Lure or a Soleil, right? Well, almost guaranteed, because we could be using Watch to trigger the skill, right? Then we get, basically, to add it to our hand. Then we can summon this, reveal the fusion, bring back a Soleil or a Lure. So as long as our... Theoretically, this is just always fine. And then Langa makes Gulfer. So we can always have access to this, because again, if we have either Soleil or Lure, we can change their name or leave it as is. The downside is, if we need to use the skill to put fusion on top of our deck, and then we need to activate the effect of our guys, and we only have one or the other. So for example, this needs Soleil. So if we have Soleil in hand, and we have Langa, and we need to use the skill to put fusion on top of our deck, that now means we can't fuse these 2 after we've used their effects. So we now have to have a Lure in graveyard or a second Soleil in graveyard to bring back using Langa's effect in order to actually fuse it off. Otherwise it gets stuck on the board. So that is awkward. Play Yami Ruler. I mean, there is potential for that. There is absolutely potential for that. Now the question is, would we use prayer? What does prayer get us? This is probably the best thing to prayer back. Degrace, just being able to double attack or be a big hitter is really good. Galflare is good to bring back specifically just to get back Wish. Dalkmoor is like, it's okay if we're trying to get defensive or if we think our opponent's going to have like a widespread or the new Total Destruction Trap card. How many spell traps are we on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Quite a lot. I mean, it's not that much, to be honest. Especially with no bosses. So then we have Sail. Sail is a bit of a weird one as well. During the turn that you normal summon this card, we can reveal a prayer or fusion to draw a card. Now, the problem with this is we have no way to fuse it off. Because it doesn't none of the fusions we have are Sail fusions. The other thing is that if we want to guarantee fusion, we have to guarantee fusion after we've used the skill. And the skill sends cards away. So this is not a great card to send away with the skill. It's a bit of a weird one. Box Farmer doesn't look that strong to me. I think the decks can be pretty good. I think it's going to depend, though. I don't think Sail is going to be good. So I'm going to take it out because we don't have any of its fusions. I think we're going to run into a situation where it gets stuck on the board. And there are lots of cards in the Sky Savior archetype to get rid of cards that are on your board. We didn't get any of them, like straight up. Hello, RPG Prince. Hey, Tomato, how are you? Is the Rush community growing? I don't know, to be honest. I don't really have a good feel for how big the Rush community is. I mean, my community grows a little bit all the time. But the Rush community as a whole, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Right now, we are very low on monsters. That is my key takeaway here. The other thing is, how many fusion do we want to run in this deck? Because, like, this is going to lock us so our level 8 or lower monsters can't attack. Which means, ideally, we want to have as many fusions as possible or just level 8 bosses. I'm actually wondering, do we just go straight in for, like, Yami Ruler and shit? Like, I don't know. I don't know. They're all limit 3s as well, so it'd cut out Star Protector's protection if we want to go that route. Yami Luna is really good, though. I just wonder if it's even worth it. We can't get a discount on Yami Ruler, so it's like, what's even the point? It just makes me wonder if Watch is worth playing, especially if we're only playing one copy of Fusion. That guarantees we can only make one Fusion a turn, which then is like, are we going to play a very slow game and then use Prayer to bring cards back? It's definitely tricky. It's definitely tricky. I think we still want to max out on Watch either way. But then again, Watch can be annoying. Because we do need to have 2 warriors or fairies. Right now, we don't have a ton of warriors and fairies. In terms of, like, we're only playing 15 normals. Let's have a look at warriors. Because even though we're not locked to anything, like, the skill doesn't lock us, the cards can lock us. So we want to have a look at, like, what our other options are. I don't think we need anything like a Harvey or a Piercing Samurai, right? I mean, Seanin is pretty good, but only if we're playing the Yami Ruler stuff. God, most of these cards are just so useless. I don't think it's even worth searching fairies. There's no good fairies. I mean, Freed's nice, but we've only got one light monster. Like, right now, what is this deck doing? The skill doesn't plus us. We can get pluses from, like, specifically Langa, Lua, and Soleil. These cards are our pluses. This doesn't plus, this breaks even. This minuses, but theoretically is kind of a plus in value. Run Essel? But we don't get any value out of Essel. Filling up the graveyard doesn't do a ton for us. There's no bosses to summon, so we're not going to get a discount on it. I think we'd have to play this slower, right? Like, there's no way that... I don't think we can play this as, like, a combo deck that tries to, like, OTK our opponent. Like, how would we go about that if we wanted to? We would have to just get lucky with all of these mills. We'd have to play more than one fusion, for sure. Because if we could just naturally find a couple of fusions and then use the skill to grab another fusion, potentially we could do a lot with that. But then, we still don't have enough plussing. Like, the best plussing we've got is just to get the fusion itself, and then Langa gets us one of these two. So it's quite easy to go from Langa into Gold Flare. But Gold Flare just gets us back Wish. The one that we really need to go into the most is Degrace. So we need to get Dankus. But how the hell are we getting Dankus? All we're doing is just drawing cards. So if we just never find Dankus, our, like, aggro plays are always going to be really underwhelming. Because our aggro play is basically just going to be... Like, without Dankus, without this guy, we're limited to just these two. All we can make is Saucier, who is, like, expensive and not very good, and only has 2200 attack. And then Gold Flare, who's a little bit better, but also needs us to have a graveyard set up in order to do much of anything. So that in itself is kind of rough, because the skill it's just discard 2, draw 2, effectively. Like, we could send 2 from the field. That's fine. But it's still fundamentally just draw 2 cards. Which does not guarantee we're going to find Dankus. Alright, let's experiment. Let's say we're going to play the Yami Ruler stuff, and we'll see where things go. So probably playing this. We'll play 2 of this, I guess. And I'll play 1 of Yami Tarasu if I can find him. Oh, he's a Celestial Warrior, that's why. Alright, so with this, what changes? We have to hard tribute this out, which sucks. We never want to hard tribute out. Here's a Celestial Warrior. He absolutely is. This is good. Yami Luna is genuinely really good. Right now, we don't have the fusion material for this. The question is, do we even need this? I mean, it's not bad, but it's the limit 3-ness of it that makes it suck. It seems this deck could compete with Execute. I mean, basically, right? Like, the Yami Ruler, Yami Luna play is generally really good, because you end up with, like, a 25 and a 3k Piercer. That's pretty good on its own. The issue is that's kind of it. And I just don't think that's good enough. These are also level 8, which means we can bypass the watch restriction, which is, like, pretty good. But now we've lost so much of our back row power that we're kind of not really a control deck anymore. But these two are really nice control tools. And, like, this is potentially an okay control tool, but it's going to get popped by stuff. So I don't... Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see the vision again with this. It just feels like it's not good enough with the cards that we've got. Our options are we Floodgate. But even the Floodgate isn't, like, great. Because if we want to specifically use Yami Tarasu, that means we also now need to include the other fusion, which I just don't think is worth playing. So I think we'd take that out. We might bump this up to 3 and just not use that fusion. And then instead use this one and just never use it. And then just have this as, like, a separate beat stick. You can't attack with level 8 and lower after. Is it? No, yeah, you're right. You're level 8 and lower. I thought that your level 8s could attack. No, so even this is kind of crappy then. What cards are we missing that would make the deck feel good? Like, so many. So if we go and have a look quick. So first off, we're missing all of the big fusions. Well, most of the big fusions. So this guy, Degration, this is like the big finisher of the deck. It requires 3 material, which is expensive, but there are other cards that gain you advantage, so it's not the end of the world. Send the top card of the deck to the graveyard. Then it can either attack twice at 3k, it can attack directly at 3k, or it gains 15, so it goes up to 45. Altiera is a floodgate, which would be useful against a lot of decks. This one, less good. I don't like Chartreuse that much, but this is like sort of a floodgate. We have Quildas, which is like fine. It's nothing like crazy, but it does have the ability to stop your opponent from activating traps when you attack. So that can be useful. It's kind of an ancient gear in that way. We're missing Limlith, which can be summoned by tributing a fairy or a water warrior, so you can get out for 1 tribute. And then during the turn that you summon it, we can add up to 2 Soleil, Lure, and or Fusion from graveyard, so that's a +2. And then we can send a monster to the graveyard, which would be a great way to get rid of lingering bodies like Alanga or like a Serre, because the current reason we're not playing Sail is because it would get stuck on the board. There's nothing we could do with it, right? I don't think Nelcritta would matter. Sandmarth would matter, because this is a Serre fusion. This immediately makes Serre worth playing, because we can get rid of it. Show one other card from your hand or field, and place it on either the bottom of the owner's deck, and then either destroy a face at level 9 or lower monster, which is a good effect, or add a level 1 fairy from your graveyard to your hand, which is like fine. It's not great, but it's fine. We don't have Claymont. I don't think Claymont is like spectacular, but he would probably see play as at least a one of in the deck. We're also missing Soul. Soul is really, really big, which is send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, then you can add a Soleil or a Lure, so that's a +1, and then if you do, you can send a monster, which again, you don't have to. So again, because of the way our skill works, we could use these cards to gain their effects, not send stuff to the graveyard, then use the skill and send them to the graveyard afterwards, which would be really, really good. There's Aspiration. This is a trade-in for Sky Saviors, which is really, really good. We have Oath, which is a polymerization for Sky Saviors that also counts as prayer while in the hand, which means all of the cards that mention have a prayer in your hand can be used with Oath, which is really, really good. I don't think the rest of them matter. But that's all the cards we could have got that makes it better, right? Which was just so many cards. At least this deck looks better than XQE. I wonder if it does, you know? Like, the skill is much better than XQE, but I don't know if the card quality is much better than XQE. Like, this card on its own, Ciela, is really, really good. Just having this card, just a guy that can reduce your opponent's attack by 1,000 is really strong. But, like, outside of that, like, a double attacking 27, like, this is sort of a Dragius, right? It's not spectacular. This is really expensive to get back pop. This is good if you have everything set up and then you can continuously try and loop trap cards. And this is good, again, against specific decks. But, like, proactively, this doesn't actually do anything. So it's like... it's a bit awkward. It's okay, Worms is going to save the box. I think Worms looks like the most fun, for sure. I like Sky Savers as well. Like, it's a deck that I've played in OCG. I actually do quite like the deck. I just don't think... if this deck came out at an appropriate time, like 6 months, a year ago, it probably would have been better, right? Just when the power level was a lot weaker. In the current metagame, I just don't see this as, like, competing. I don't think the Yami Ruler stuff is helping the deck. But at the same time, I don't know what we do if we don't have it. The other thing is, this is like, it's generic. Like, what is locking us? If we use your effect, that locks us. You lock us. You don't. You don't. You do. Other than Watch, if we just don't activate these two's effects, we don't actually have to lock ourselves into only attacking with Warriors, Celestial Warriors, and Fairies. So, like, maybe there is something we can do where we just play other good stuff. Even 1 year ago, this looks ass. I mean, this trap card a year ago would have gone pretty hard, right? Like, just remember, we didn't have Shady yet 1 year ago today. Put circulation. I mean, we could. We could do this, and then slap a load of elemental heroes in. But then that doesn't, like, change the maths on it a lot. It'd be funny. I wonder what a hero version of this deck would look like. Surely not good. But what would we... So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's not bad. We got to 13. We don't have a lot of room for other monsters, though. The question is, could we get rid of some of these? Like, if we're not using the effect and we're never making this, we could probably just cut Ciela altogether. Like, unironically, that could probably just work. Right now this is 31 cards. But, like, unironically, this looks better than it looked just now. Which is, it sounds so bad to say. But this actually looks better than the Yami Ruler version, and it looks better than Pure. And we only have 6, I think right now, if we stick to only 6, I think we probably cut 1 copy of Circulation. But if we can get more in, which obviously we want to get more in, we want to get the Sparkmen in. What could we cut here? I mean, potentially even we just cut Swatch and then just have like 6 skill targets. I don't even think that's bad. Bruh, is this really the direction we're going in? Like, think about it logically, right? The hero skill is just get rid of a card, grab fusion to hand. This skill is get rid of up to 2 cards and draw replacements for them. And then put fusion on top of your deck. So if we have a way to, like, draw a card, which could be, again, we could just use circulation to get to it. My question goes yet. Question, what restrictions does the skill have? It has, that's the neat part, Hunter. It doesn't. It's turn 2 is what it cares about. Have we discovered the best way to play Sky Saviors? Is it heroes? Is elemental heroes the answer? I still don't think this is going to be good or better than heroes. We could also, like, we could get rid of Langa. If we got rid of Langa, like, what happens? We get 3 more spots, so we can put an Argent. Hello, Globe. Welcome, welcome. Sky Saviors are finally in Duel Links. Not yet, but soon. But soon. A hero always wins in the end. Oh, I hate this so much. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Unironically, this looks like the best way to play this deck. Which is so gross. Do we need longer? I mean, it goes into Gold Flare, but I don't even know if Wish is worth playing right now, because we've just cut out all of the water cards. I guess we still have 6 and 6. That's, like, still probably fine. Make the Sky Savior package smaller, play more E-Heroes. Well, the only thing else I think we would put in here from the hero, like, monster-wise, would be Argent. This is the only other thing I would put in monster-wise. And the only thing I would take out would be Langa. So, like, I could do, like, minus the Langa, add in the Argents. So now this is just heroes, but now I don't think this is worth playing. So it's like, what are we doing with this? Now this is just... We can use the skill, if we have one of these 2 in hand, to send Argent from the field to the grave. And then it's just the hero skill. We get to draw the card and then put the fusion on top. I don't know, man. This is just weird. This is just weird. And even keeping this in, what does that now give us? It gives us Dulkmoor and it gives us Degrace access. So we get a double attacker. I mean, unironically, heroes getting a double attacker, that's not bad for heroes. Swap to the hero skill too. No, that's too far. That's too far. What are you talking about? I mean, this is just worse than heroes, right? We are no longer cooking, we're microwaving now. I mean, It sounds weird. Unironically, I think this is probably the best way to play Sky Sabers, which feels so gross to say. The alternative is that, again, we just go all in on traps, and we go, like, Gold Flare Turbo, and we just try and spam out, Wish. We use Wish, we use Shady. We probably have minimum numbers of Fusion. But then, like, what's our win con? Like, what the hell do we do to win the game? Like, right now, it's just Degrace. Degrace is our only win con, and that's just double attacking. So we'd have to have 2 other attacks, and then Degrace gets in for 27, and then try and do that every turn. And if we're doing that, then we can't do Gold Flare, which means we're not getting back the trap card. We don't have any, like, piercing. We don't have any pop. We don't have any direct attacking. Alright, we'll come back to this, because my brain is melting doing this. Add Elias. Oh, yeah, we would need to do that. We also wouldn't need that anymore, because we're not planning to ever use his effect. I mean, realistically, we would take out a lot of this and replace this for a lot of the hero stuff. We would take these out. This would come out. Probably take both of those out, and then we would just put heroes in again. Like 1, 1, 1. We haven't even got Miracle Fusion in here. One. What's that right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got room for one more. We'll take another burst. Bam. We also don't have traps. We've replaced trap cards with these guys. We also don't have all of the good spells to turbo the graveyard. I mean, this is just ass. Let's be honest. This ain't going anywhere. And then the last one is Matarian, I guess. So, what the hell does a Matarian list look like these days? These. This. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put these in. I mean, probably this as the last, but it could also be another copy of Medusa. Then we'll go for 500 defense. Light monsters. Alright. Look at all these unofficial Matarians, guys. Probably putting you in. You're coming in. Do we need any more monsters? Is this all like the monster lineup we would usually have? Or has the hero all keeps tumbling down, tumbling down. Alright. We're gonna need fusion. We're gonna want probably Pot of Greed. Imagine. We want you. We're gonna want... Oh, wait, no, we can't have you. We need Monster Reincarnation. That's how this deck works. Bam. Are you gonna play a Tracked Golem with their new fusion? God, no. Why on earth would I do that? A Tracked Golem does, like, nothing, effectively. And then the fusion is just draw 1 card. Which I just don't think is worth playing. I cannot see a world where drawing 1 card is the correct play. Your limit 1 is Compulse. Ah, there we go. Compulse. I feel like we're already kind of stacked here. What does, like, a current day version of this deck look like? I mean, do we even... We could probably cut these down to 1, right? Because the skill gets us it. Let's turn on hovers. To add fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand, but only once per duel. So as soon as that's in rotation, it's in rotation, right? So I don't need to worry about it. So I can get away with playing 3 copies of Matarian Fusion, 1 copy of Fusion. That also means that even if I add Star Restart, it will still be online all the time. And then what, like... We don't have limit 3s, actually, so I guess we just play... Star Pro. Is this kind of looking like a Matarian deck? Matarian top GFR in March, so you can check that list. Ooh, that's a good shout. Let me find the list. If I go here. This one? GRF March. So if we do Control F, Metarian. Bam. Age-restricted adult content? Guys, Metarian might be a bit too spicy for this stream. I don't know if we're ready for this. Ah! I can't confirm my age. Ah! Okay. Okay, I see how we're doing it. Let me come over to my other screen quick. Let's see if we can find it over here. Bam, easy. Easy. Alright. Can't believe we're being age restricted like this. There we go. Age restricted deck list. Look at all this adult content, guys. Look at it all. Oh, I only playing one copy of that. We're playing the back row hay. We're not playing that many trap cards, and we're playing 2 copies of Beam. I keep forgetting Beam's back. God, that makes me just irrationally angry. They're playing 1 less copy of this. So it's literally back row hate and Beam. I guess back row hate is really important for this deck, because if we get hit with a Shady, like, what are we doing? But then again, who's playing Shady? I don't know, man. Beam is also important to try and, like, OTK. How many copies of Fusion were there? They were on 3 Fusions, so we're basically bumping that up by 1. What are they playing that we're not? So they're on... This is what, 15 monsters? 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, yeah. And we're playing 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Yeah, so we're also playing 15 monsters. They weren't playing Star Pro. Because was Star Pro out in March? I don't think it was. So that's like the big difference, is we're playing more trap cards. And we're playing 1 more card here. You need the new fusions to shuffle back your opponents, attract golems in the mirror. A UK government won't let Tomato see. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. What is going on? It's the 2 guns. Need to keep the people safe from TCB. It wasn't out in March, yeah. I mean, we can put the cards in, but I don't know what else we would change. Yeah. Because the other thing would be, is it Iron Onslaught? Is that the... I always get the name wrong, so it's Barrage of Steel. Iron Onslaught and Barrage of Steel were the 2 different names for this card. So now we're 3 cards over. I don't know if Barrage of Steel is less valuable now, since a lot of decks play Star Pro. But it's still really important if you're in a matchup where they're playing Shady. So it's a tricky one. Definitely a tricky one. Probably cut at least one of these out. Maybe just cut one of these out, because just drawing them multiple times is not going to be super helpful to us. I mean, Metarian Fusion is pretty good here. Back removal kind of ass in this moment of the game. Yeah, Alright, the thing to remember is, it's really bad against Star Pro. But it's really good against Shady. The downside is, it's never good value to pop an opponent's back row. Because if you do, effectively, you've gone -1 me, -1 my opponent. They're going to draw up to 5 cards next turn anyway. And I'm now down 1 card to make my plays this turn. So it's never like a good value proposition. But like in some matchups, you just need to pop shit, right? It's like with Noodles, you need to pop their shit, otherwise you're not going to get anything done. So, like, it sucks. That's why, ideally, we want cards that are, like, in archetype that could just pop back row, right? We want stuff like we're saying, just to see our stuff, right? I mean, we could cut these and then just chuck this up. And then, bam, that's a 30-card list. I mean, this doesn't look awful, especially with Star Pro in here. Like, being able to sack off the useless bodies you're not going to use, and then keep yourself alive, and then just go into some high-value turns, ideally off of Metarian Fusion. It doesn't seem bad. Like, it doesn't seem great, but it doesn't seem bad, you know? Alright. Either way, I wasn't actually expecting to do this for 3 hours, if I'm being completely honest. That is going to be the end of the stream. I was expecting us to just, like, vibe for a bit, make some decks, and then move on. But we kind of got into this. Overall, I don't think it's too much of a surprise that Worms look like they have the most potential. And I think they're going to be the fun deck of the new box. Probably the strongest deck of the new box as well. But I will probably be back on Sunday. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to be streaming on Sunday. And I'm just saying that because it all depends on a lot of different factors. Sunday, though, is the release of the Osaka event. It shouldn't be the box release date, but it could be. There's always a chance. So never say never. But if I do stream on Sunday, it will be because either the new box is out or because we are not currently in a heatwave, which would be ideal. Chemicalize will be the best deck from the new box. I trust. I trust Duan's opinion. He's never wrong. He's never wrong. But I might see you on Sunday. I might not. Either way, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye!